All right, we're live. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Geeks of the Round Table. I'm your host, Sean, and I also have two of the awesome geeks that I know. Phil, what the fuck was that? Was that like a kaiju or something? Like Godzilla fighting? What the hell?
And now we have Freddy Krueger's laugh. This is just gonna be like the best show ever.
It waited right till you were online.
It's like,
Wow,
Freddy, get out of here.
This is a blooper right here. That was like the ill Godzilla versus. Wow. All right. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is the first podcast from Geeks at the Round Table. I'm your host, Sean, and I have two of the most awesome co-hosts that I know with me. I have Joseph, and I have Marcus. Now, introduce yourselves to our new listeners for this new podcast. Go ahead, Joseph. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I, unlike you, am not an awesome writer who started my own website, and I don't make YouTube videos. I am just one of those guys who sits in his underwear in his house and goes, "That's not the way it's supposed to happen." I'm your garden variety nerd. I like everything like horror, sci-fi. Godzilla is my number one. I still play a little bit of video games. I like it all, man. It's just geek culture. Geek culture is an all-time high, and now I can finally be happy about all the stuff that I like.
All right, Marcus.
Well, let me first just say that I love our title. I love how we're the Geeks of the Round. It makes it sound like the most broken Final Fantasy summon in the geek world of all time. It's like if you got to this podcast by riding the golden chocobo because you had to breed those little bastards and go over the mountain to get us, we appreciate you. But I'm just a really big geek. I have my YouTube, I have a blog, I do all that stuff. I talk to a lot of people on my other social media. I just love comics and movies and TV. And I'm just that nerd that will just be like, you know what? You either do great things and live, or you just die and see yourself become the villain. AKA Brett Ratner in X-Men 3. We don't talk about that. But I love everything. I love it all. I love geek culture so much. I just want to be a part of it forever.
Same here. Just in case you guys don't know about me, I'm Sean from For Geeks Like You, editor-in-chief over there and founder. If you want, you can always check us out at 4geekslikeyou.com. We're always updating daily on comic book news, movie news, TV news, anime, video games, everything from your mother's panties to your father's mustache. So
Sounds like Japan.
Let's start with the topic today. And since this is our first podcast and we're just basically starting this off, let's talk about DC and Marvel because right now DC seems to be or is
fucking up.
Well, I don't as far as like starting off their cinematic universe, yeah, like I believe that they're kind of starting off on the wrong foot. Now I know that Joseph was talking about Man of Steel, or was going to say something about Man of Steel earlier. So, Joseph, let me hear your. Are you in favor of Man of Steel, or was it just not good for you?
Here's my deal.
Clap his hands. It's on.
I'm one of those few people that actually still likes Superman Returns before you guys bite my head off.
What?
I do. I know it's got problems, but here's my thing. Everyone bitched that Superman never threw a punch, and then they got a movie where Superman just threw punches, and then they bitched about that. So, the thing is, man, is Superman is a character you can't really win with because I don't know, man. I like Man of Steel to a point. I think the ultimate Superman movie is a balance between the cinematic scope of what Superman Returns had and kind of the way they kind of had that character, and then the action of Man of Steel. Because let's be honest, everything that wasn't action in Man of Steel was pretty bad. The acting, the way Lois finds Jesus was Superman.
When was that? I'll turn the movie on right now.
the whole thing of her finding Superman, that whole thing was just, it was bad. And I mean, like, and Jor-El basically being the video game tutorial character of hit A to punch.
He's Cortana from Halo.
It's
Basically.
yeah, like I mean, Man of Steel made up for it in the end. No matter what you think about him breaking Zod's neck and all that happy horse shit. I mean, he looked cool. The fights were awesome. Could it have been better? Yeah, but I think that's such a hard character to do that I think almost in any way Zack Snyder was pretty much fucked from the get-go in that movie, because there was going to be a lot of people that didn't like it. There's going to always be a lot of people who like it, but there was going to be a lot, but you always know the people who don't like it are the ones who are way more vocal when it comes to comic books.
I think that Man of Steel, what it suffered from is that it was giving us another origin story, and I think that the majority of the fans and moviegoers, I mean, Superman is such an iconic figure in the comic book universe and in the the cinematic universe overall. Superman. I mean, Christopher Reeves, even going back to George Reeves. These people, Dean Cain, like Superman was all over the place. So we know about Superman. To give us another origin story was, it was just like, we got to go through this again. Even though they changed it up a bit, it was still like, we've been there before. Like, can we just get to the invasion, please? And when they got to the invasion with Zod, I think that like we were so kind of like it's like going to getting this invitation to this awesome party, and you're told like all these Hollywood stars are gonna be there, and like, yes, oh my God, I'm gonna mingle, I'm gonna chill with all these people, and then when you get there, all you get is like a bunch of people with with the like corniest outfits with the fucking moose heads, and then these parties, and like, yeah, this isn't my swag, so I'm gonna turn back around because I'm not with this. I think it was kind of dry by the time it got to the action, and people were just kind of tired. Like, oh, they're starting to fight now. Okay, the fighting was great. I mean, it felt like a Dragon Ball Z movie to me, like what Dragon Ball Z fighting should be in an actual live movie. I'm not going to talk about Dragon Ball Evolution.
I was going to say, oh Lord, we brought up the taboo subject.
Nope, definitely not going to talk about Dragon Ball Evolution. But I felt that the fighting there was definitely something great. Like him fighting Fiora in the middle of Smallville was just something great, because what it showed to me, at least, was that this Superman isn't the Christopher Reeves kind of Superman where he's like, I have to save everybody. Like, this guy was like, I'm throwing you into IHOP, through Sears, through a fucking bank. It's like somebody could just be like, hey, it's Friday, I'm going to cash my check. Boom, Fiora to the face. Like, this Superman was just like, I don't care who's around me right now. Like, everybody, if you're in the way, I'm not saving you. This is war. So, yeah, I mean, it was an okay film when it got to the second half, but through the beginning it was just like, what? Like, even seeing Kevin Costner as Pa Kent, like, I felt that this Pa Kent was more darker, and I understand that DC is going for the dark kind of thing, but like Pa Kent that I know would have been like, listen, we don't want you to use your powers because people just aren't ready for you. Like, the Pa Kent here, when Clark is talking to him, he's like, so what are you saying? Like, I shouldn't have saved them? And he's like, maybe. Like what? Like, is he not supposed to save them? Like what the fuck are you telling this kid? Like, this kid's gonna grow up to be the freaking the strongest man in the fucking on Earth, and you're like, yeah, well, if somebody's falling from a bus and a butterfly is about to get smacked by a freaking car, I should go save the butterfly and say fuck everybody from the falling bus? Like, I don't know. I mean, yes, it did add in some diverse qualities for Superman that I feel that later on throughout the series, if we ever get another standalone Superman film, that he's gonna have to deal with. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it. Like, I don't want to say I didn't like it, but like I wasn't like as hyped as I thought it would be, being that we were getting a new Superman movie.
Oh man, I mean, I loved it. For me, I mean, even it's like, like even like it was said before, like what Joe said, like, people complained because Superman Returns was basically a 2-hour long soap opera where you basically give us a shit fest, and at the end it's like, oh, Lois Lane is pregnant. Impossible. That's first of all, but that's whatever. it's like, yeah, you beat it. Yeah, no, you can handle that. Just let's throw that out there. But and then Man of Steel for me was that movie where it was the visual apology and the action apology. And the reason why I liked it so much was because it took, it's like, the origins. We all know that. We all know what happened. But then we needed it for this movie because it was what needed to be seen. And for me, I loved it because it was all the things that I want a Superman movie. Superman basically, and even we all know. I don't know why people complain about the damage to the city. Superheroes cause a lot of collateral damage.
Yeah.
They all do. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the X-Men, all of them. All superheroes cause collateral damage. Granted, it's like even with other heroes, like Batman does too. So it's like, and him snapping Zod's neck, I feel was necessary for his journey to no killing. Because it's kind of like Oliver Queen from Arrow. Like, you kill until something monumental happens to you, then you're like, there's other ways to do this. And
But Marcus, like I agree with you on that. That was a good outlet for him to say like no more killing, but I felt that the writer basically said David Goyer was the writer, right? David S. Goyer, right?
He was the one
Yes.
who wrote the original script. I think somebody else came in too. I could be wrong though.
All right. So the problem with the writer is that he put Superman in a situation where he could have easily avoided it. All right, you have a family in front of you. Zod is about to shoot his eyes at them. Are you telling me that Superman couldn't just say, let me throw you to the side or throw you up in the air or let's fly away and I'll still have you in this lock, but let's just fly away and then something like it's not like. Go ahead.
Even that, you bring up a good point. But my counter to that is, for me, him killing Zod was actually the responsible thing to do, because you've been brought up to to save humanity, and that quick of the moment when and we all that watched it, even the listeners out there, they agree with me on this. We knew that there was no negotiating with Zod. There was no let me think of another peaceful way to do this. That was literally the only thing that he can do, and I feel like that was the most responsible thing for Superman to do, because he thought, and you could see it in his face when he did it. He didn't want to do it, but at the same time, when his birth of being a hero, when he has to do what needs to be done in order to save in order to save humanity.
But it wasn't the only thing that he could have done. Again, he could have flown away. He could have thrown Zod to the side, saved, told the family to run, and still continued to fight. So it's not like it was like he was cornered in this situation where there was no other way to escape. The writer just basically said, hey, Zod is facing him. Clark can't fly anymore. Clark can't just throw him anywhere else and tell the family to escape. He has to break his neck. I just felt like it was too forced. Like it didn't add to the fluidity that was occurring in the moments before where they're fighting. They're here, they're there, and it's fluid. And then you're put in a situation where Zod gets basically thrown through fucking Grand Central, and he's like, oh, I have to kill these, I'm about to kill this family that's in front of me. You can't fly me away. You can't toss me to the side. It's just like, it's forced. Better, you could have, if I'm sitting there and I'm watching and I'm saying, so he couldn't fly, then there has to be other people that were sitting there saying, like, well, so he couldn't do anything else? Like, did he have to break his neck? Sure, and I understand what you're saying. Like, yes, it does add to his grounded attitude with him saying, like, yes, I don't want to kill anyone. I'll always find a way to do the opposite, because this will definitely, or I would hope that it will leave an emotional scar, like a deep scar on his character. Like, maybe Superman now dreams of always killing Zod. Like, that's something that he's trying to pull himself away from, but it also adds to that darker side. Like, yes, well, now I know, like, even if I can't save someone, but I have to kill them, because, leading up to Batman v Superman, they're obviously going to fight, so I wonder if that's going to be Superman saying, like, yeah, I could punch through this guy's armor and shatter him and shit, but I'm just going to go a little tap on the face, even though my taps can send someone through a wall. But yeah, Man of Steel just didn't really. I didn't leave Man of Steel saying, like, oh man, I gotta see it again, or oh man, I can't wait till this is Blu-ray. I was just like, yeah, so I gotta catch the train at 9, and yeah.
I mean, here's my problem with that argument. When it comes to Superman, the thing about Superman is the fucking guy that can fucking do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of, I mean, he could do anything, but he's got to do so. The fight's got to end somehow. You can't just have the guys beating each other up in the sky for an extra 2.5 hours. So I get it. I mean, yeah, it was sort of like but it was a stamp on the end of the fight. As well as one thing I will give it is, I mean, and let's just be honest too. They wrote it in just because they thought it would be cool. That's really the only reason you got that in there, is they just thought it would be cool. So I mean, it's really the only reason to do anything in a film. But Superman's a dude who can do anything. So no matter how that fight would have ended, I think somebody would have been upset with it. That's just kind of the way it is. That fight had to end. That fight had to end somehow, somewhere, and eventually, because by the time it got to that point, I was like, okay, I mean, it's just the same shit over and over again. What the fuck else is gonna happen? And then they ended it. So I don't even have a problem with the fight. My problem with that movie was almost everything else.
You mean Hobo Clark?
I was fine with Hobo Clark. I mean, I like the idea of him being like Kane from Kung Fu and going out and finding himself. You know,
Yes.
that was fine. It was Lois's character was almost next to, she wasn't important at all. I mean,
couldn't stand her.
I don't know. I like Amy Adams too. I didn't even mind her as Lois Lane. I just thought all the shit they had her doing was ridiculous. I mean, she's falling out of the sky and there's two jets blowing up and she doesn't even get a fucking mark on her. Oh no, nope. Her mascara is perfect. Her lipstick is still there. I mean,
Well, yeah, but you know, women in comic book movies always have that same magical power. Like, remember Jessica Alba in the Fantastic Four movie, where like Doctor Doom is spraying her with lightning, and her hair is still perfect. Like,
yeah, they do. Yeah, in comic books, yes. But the thing is they did, the whole point of this movie is it's grounded, it's gritty, it's realistic, and then you have everything unrealistic happening to one character. Like all the realistic stuff happened to everybody else. You know, like all the people at the Daily Planet, they were having the realistic stuff happen to them. They're all dirty, getting buildings dropped on them, but Lois is perfectly fine. And the whole building's in a complete mess, but she somehow found the perfect path to get to Grand Central Station.
Yeah, that is true, man.
That was the part of the movie I threw my hands up at and went, you know what? Fuck you.
and even Morpheus, like even like, and he for me, Lawrence Fishburne is Morpheus in every movie he's in. 'Cause I was like, look at you, Morpheus. Look at you, Try, I think. Could you, Morpheus, go on. He was the dirtiest person there, and I was like, what did you do? You saved your coworkers, which I have to say is the best boss ever. I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to ask for a raise after this, but I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to be like, didn't I just save your life? Yeah, but you see, I can't feed my family on, aliens invading and whatnot, so...
And the big thing about Man of Steel 2 is like I said, I mean, it's like every movie. I mean, all movies are flawed. And no matter how much you like a movie, if you don't admit that it's flawed, you're just lying to yourself at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So I think in reality, I mean, like, time will tell on that series. You know, like we said, DC, like Sean said, DC, you guys said you think they're fucking up, and I tend to agree with you, but the fact is we don't know if they're gonna fuck up. We might actually turn around 5 years from now and be like, fuck, man, we're wrong. That Justice League movie was better than all the Marvel movies combined. I don't think it'll happen, but it's good
to dream.
Yeah, we're still in the waiting stages of this. So, like, I mean, everything we're seeing, DC's making up for lost time, but they're doing it in the worst possible way. They're that dude instead of like, fuck, I gotta study for my exams. Well, I'm just gonna do coke all night and stay up and fucking study. that's more or less what they're doing at this point. But
I mean, for me, you're completely right. And, I'm only saying that they're fucking up because I don't want my expectations to be, I don't want to put them on a high pedestal and then be disappointed and be like, yo, what the hell? Like, for me, like, and I made a video about this because I was like, I feel like DC's doing what Michael Bay does. And when Michael Bay, like, basically, like, kills us with hype and pisses us off, only to be like, hey, I fixed it. Now you guys that hated it are automatically converted to loving it now. Like the whole turtles being aliens thing. We were all mad about that, but did we all not know about the movie? Did we all not share it, like it, discuss it on forums and all of that? And then a couple months before the movie came out, he was like, "Oh, they're not aliens, they're mutants again." Everybody's like, "Yeah, he fixed it," and then everybody that hated it was automatically converted to loving it in one swoop.
That's
So
true. That's a good point.
so I just feel like that. I just feel like that's what DC's doing to us right now. DC is just throwing shit out there. It's like I feel like they're like an uncontrolled fire. I feel like they're just throwing shit out there to get our reactions, to gauge our reactions, to get us to talk about it. And like we're doing, make a podcast, make videos, and voice our opinions, only to have them say, "Hey, let's start, fixing things slowly." And then later on, when they make a big reveal, they're like, "Hey, we fixed all the problems. Now we have twice as much of a fan base than we had before, because everybody that hated it now loves it, and everybody that believed in us loves it too." So
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. Like, I'm not trying to say um, DC is going to have like this bad track record for the rest of their lives. Like, they're not the guy in the back of the classroom with the earrings all over their face talking about, yeah, fuck school, fuck school. Like, no, they're like they're the guy that's in the front row that's paying attention. But they're like, you know what? I have to get to the head of the class. I have to catch up to the guy who's getting 100s or the girl that's getting 100s in her class and A pluses. Like, I feel that whereas Marvel took their time to say, all right, you know what? Let's start with Iron Man. Let's see how people accept this. And then people were like, oh my god, then they were like, all right, well let's start creating a cinematic universe, especially after the whole Project Avengers, thing at the end. Like, people were just like, whoa, at the end of the Hulk movie, like, people lost their shit. I remember being in the theater, everybody was like, whoa, Avengers!
Oh yeah, I was one of those
So,
people.
yeah, me too, man. Even I stood
I
up,
was
like, oh
so
shit.
hype. I was like, "You bastards!" And me and my friends were all just like, "Yo, we couldn't like." We literally sat in the theater for an extra 20 minutes because we were just that much in awe that we were like, "They're gonna make the Avengers one day."
Exactly. So Marvel basically took their time, and if we want to sort of compare, put these notes side by side. DC sort of did their thing with Man of Steel, where they said, all right, well, let's try to open up this Batman, let's say, but since Batman isn't a part of this new DC cinematic universe, then let's say it started with Man of Steel, and they were like, all right, well, let's see how people accept it. Now, people didn't accept it as well as Warner Brothers thought that they would. So what did Warner Brothers and DC do to follow suit with it? They basically said, well, Superman can't hold his own movie, so let's throw in Batman. And when they threw in Batman, it was like, okay, well, we saw the bat signal, we saw the bat in the S signal, we were like, oh man, like, this is gonna be crazy, Batman versus Superman. And then they were like, hey, Wonder Woman. They're like, okay. And then they were like,
Actually,
what?
now that you actually, you know what? I actually have a thing about why all of their cameos make sense. Actually,
I mean, but all right, we'll get to that. But my thing is like, why not why not give them their own time to shine? Like, if you were going to reboot Batman, which is basically what you're doing by adding in Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne / Batman, why not space these out and then take your time and say, all right, well, let's let these people get used to them, because I understand you're gonna say, like, after all the shit that happened in Man of Steel, it would cause other metahumans or supers to come out and be like, hey, you know what, like,
it's like
this guy.
Clark, bro, you're bullshit. It was all over that alien shit was on my lawn, bro. Come on.
Well,
Exactly. So
I mean, here's the fundamental flaw with everything that's going on with this is the fact is that let's remember that Marvel Studios is Marvel Comics,
yeah.
even though they are owned by Disney. All the CEOs, everything, those guys are still Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
DC, on the other hand, is licensed property made by Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures.
Uh-huh.
That's the big difference between the two. Is Marvel Studios do comics, knows the benefit of an arc, of a build up,
Yes.
and let's be honest, when it comes to Warner Brothers, not so much Legendary, but a little bit, but Hollywood in general, it's like, yeah, but I don't want money 5 years down the line. I want money now.
Now.
I want everything now. And that's the point. It's studio executives deciding these things instead of someone like Kevin Feige or anybody else involved in Marvel Studios who are like, and let's also remember Marvel Studios was broke making Iron Man and Incredible Hulk. So it was a gamble. So they were like, you know what? We've only got one shot, so fuck it. Let's just go for it and do what we really want to do instead of trying to placate to the masses, which is what Man of Steel and what Justice League, all these might eventually fall to, is they're just going to try to placate to every individual fan base instead of just making a great comic book movie. They're just going to kind of be like, whoa, we need to be able to bring casuals in, and we need to bring kids in and things like that. And Marvel just kind of like, we're just going to bring comic book fans in.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to do. And everybody else will follow because the comic book fans will be so hyped. And normal people will be like, you mean I don't have to go to some geek store and pick up some stupid book to read? I can just look at it? Dude, bro, I've been reading Marvel since I was like 5. And that's been Marvel's success, is the ability to not compromise but still be able to bring in the dude bros. And Warner Brothers is like, nah, we need to actually put something in there that the dude bros really like. Yeah, dude, so let's just put punches and hits and fuck story. We don't need story. We just need action and explosions because that's what dude bros want. And that's really, I mean, and this is it's just my opinion. I don't know for a fact, but that's really the flaw that I see in what's happening. Is I think if DC was its own company and maybe Warner Bros. Was like, look, we'll bring you in and we'll let you distribute the movie, but we're making the fucking movies exactly how we want to. I think a lot of this stuff would be being done a lot differently. I think we'd be getting another a reboot of the Green Lantern movie because we got fucking screwed with that. We'd be getting, another Superman standalone movie with maybe just a cameo from Batman before we'd go into Batman vs. Superman. Batman vs. Superman. Maybe we'd be getting the Wonder Woman movie. Maybe we'd eventually get our own standalone Martian Manhunter movie. I think that's the way it probably would have gone down, but the fact is it's made by a regular studio, so they're just like, so you want me to wait for my cake? Fuck that shit. I want it now.
And you know what? Like, I love your points. Like, I really do. And I feel like another problem that DC has over Marvel is that DC is trying to play catch-up in a really unfortunate way, but I also feel like DC, unfortunately, they feel like it. I don't feel like this. Like, I've been reading the comics for a long time. I could name you characters and shit that deserve their own movies and TV shows in a minute, but I feel like DC wants to basically bank on their babies, which is Batman and Superman, when unlike Marvel, like, I mean, for me, me and my friends ask people this all the time, and me and my friends were like, name characters in Marvel and in DC that are not Batman and Superman that can get their own movie, and you really can't name that many. Like, a lot of DC's characters, they can't stand on their own 2 feet like Marvel's characters can. Like, Marvel, we're getting Daredevil, Iron Fist, Jessica Drew, and Luke Cage's TV shows. We're going to get, like, the Defenders. Marvel's like, hey, you guys like this? We're going to give you Guardians of the Galaxy finally. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's like, but DC, they're like, oh, no, we can't make risks. I'm like, as a growing comic book industry, as a movie company, you have to take risks in order to be successful. Because like Joe said, Marvel was going broke when they were making movies like Iron Man and the Hulk until they said, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to start the cinematic universe and we're going to see what we do and we're going to bust our asses, because if that's your money and that's your millions, then who's going to really work harder to promote them properly, to get them with proper actors? You are, because you're not going to bank millions of your paycheck on something that you know is going to flop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, like I've always said too, I mean, time will tell with DC. I mean, maybe they'll right the ship at some point before we actually get a full-fledged Justice League movie, but they're obviously starting off on the wrong foot, and it's the problem. And it's also, like you said too, they're starting from a deficit. Marvel's got so much of the comic book movie, I mean, money tied up. Like, I mean, they're like, you can't you can't fight them. I mean, any movie that goes against any Marvel film, I feel bad for them. I'm like, as it doesn't matter how good the movie is or could be, I feel bad for them because they're gonna eventually get crushed.
Because, like, you remember originally when they said that Batman vs. Superman was originally supposed to come out at the same time as Captain America 3?
Yep.
And then DC pulled it back, and I was like, I don't know, maybe you guys should have,
They
and
pulled
this is
off
me.
Batman versus Superman for the third Captain America movie. Not even like they were gonna go against the Avengers. That shows that they know they fucking can't fuck with Marvel.
But I don't know. I mean, this is just my comedic little point on this, but it seems like Marvel cannot do a third movie correctly. So maybe they should have just kept that date.
You're going off of the Iron Man 3 mishap?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That piece of shit. I'm so glad we can curse. I am so glad. Because, I mean, like, for me, even, like, and this is comedic, because I'm pretty sure that they're not going to do what they did for that. But, I mean, like, Marvel, like, what we've got Thor 3 coming up and Captain America 3. So it's like, for me, my expectations are in the middle now, because I'm like, we were so hyped for Iron Man 3, and then you gave us that. And it's just like, you know, me and my friends were literally in the theater just like pissed off. Like we were just like even like my other friend, like, you know how you have like that one neutral friend that like knows the rest of you are mad and they're just trying to be like, hey, you want to get some ice cream? You want to get a soda? Hmm? And it's like, I want to literally hurt everyone behind this movie. Like, but I mean, it's like I feel like DC for me, DC wants to go their own route. I mean, I feel like DC shouldn't worry about the grass on either side of it. They should just focus on their own stuff. But unfortunately, it's like, even if I was a DC, I'd be like, look, we need to give, I feel like DC can start getting shots fired if they really greenlight a Wonder Woman movie. Because they're so afraid to put females on the front line for some reason. I mean, Elektra and Catwoman helped with that, Red Sonja too, but still, like, I feel like DC needs to do the things that Marvel won't do just to help them catch up a little bit. Yeah. And cast Idris Elba as Jon Stewart.
You know that's never gonna happen, so we can skip that. Like, we can skip the Idris Elba.
God, I would love that though.
Yeah, wouldn't you? Like,
dude, I will watch Idris Elba in anything.
That would be awesome, man.
I love that dude. I love that fucking guy. Ever since The Wire, Pacific Rim, Luther. Yeah. I mean, he was the shining light in Prometheus. That hunk of garbage.
They were even saying
super vagina.
They were saying that they were going to look at him for being the next Doctor before they actually cast Peter Capaldi.
What?
Ooh,
yeah, dude, I don't
watch Doctor Who for that.
Dude, I haven't even started watching Doctor Who yet, and I would be an ultra mega fan right from the get-go.
I'm not gonna lie, I would. I would be that fan that binge watches it on Netflix and talk to you like I've been watching it for years. Like,
right, dude, bro, I was there from the beginning. Where the fuck were you?
I watched the '60s, but he was dressed like a hipster from today. Like, what are you talking about? Like. But, I mean, that would be cool. Damn, that's funny. Idris Elba as the Doctor. Like, oh my God, you know what that makes me think of? You remember that Dave Chappelle skit where they were like, we're the time haters. We came back in time to call you a cracker. It's like, I am very pleased with this new Doctor.
I've always been a big fan of DC, even though I pretty much, I can say that I started out with both. I've always been a Batman fan. I'm always going to be a Batman fan.
Fuck yeah.
But I feel that DC and Warner Brothers are basically, them wanting to push things out so fast is actually one of their biggest, which is actually going to lead to one of their biggest downfalls, because when they came out with Man of Steel, at the end you're thinking, well, speaking of the end of Man of Steel, here's one thing that I've always had an issue with. Now, they destroyed Metropolis, right? Like, Metropolis is pretty much
level,
right?
It's pretty much gone.
So let me ask you a question. why at the end of Man of Steel is Clark riding through the streets, cars are going, like shit never happened. It was like, oh, that was just a dream. I woke up and oh, I'm at the Daily Planet now. Like,
What?
where the fuck is
Haven't
this?
you haven't you read the what? Funny you bring that up because, like I said, in a world of superheroes, you kind of have that beaten down relationship. Like, sure, I may destroy most of your city and I probably screwed up your house, but then I saved you, so everything's better now.
No, I'm
And
saying
if you
that
have something
the
else to
city,
say, then
it's like the city fixed itself over like that span of time. Like you guys didn't notice that? Like it was just like the
of
cars
course
were.
not. Mm-mm. Everybody got the Men in Black flash pen. Everybody got the thing. What happened? Nothing. I saved the world. Move along.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, like oh, okay, but yeah, like I was saying, like I think that DC, especially throwing in so many people into this because they went from adding in Batman to adding in Wonder Woman to possibly adding in Aquaman to adding in Lex Luthor to possibly adding in someone who I'll speak about later on, um, to basically say, hey guys, this is where the Justice League originally gets together. So this is like a pre-Avengers with the Avengers actually in this film together working on stopping an enemy. So, yeah. So,
Funny thing about that is my title for this movie would have worked out a lot better, but my title's too long. My original title was Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Hell, let's just call this the Justice League movie, the movie.
it also, it
say
also,
what you.
I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say what you want though. Maybe I'm the only one, dude. I got fucking stoked when they made that announcement about the Aquaman casting because that means they're gonna make a badass Aquaman.
Yes. I
With
mean,
Jason Momoa.
Aqua Drogo. Aqua Drogo.
Dude,
Like,
that's gonna be pretty cool. I like, dude. They're gonna make I mean, who knows? Maybe Aquaman's gonna be the dude they fight in this because he comes up out of the sea.
it's like, Superman, your bullshit destroyed most of Atlantis, and no one knows it exists but me, but still.
Dude, I got into an argument with a buddy of mine about Aquaman. He's like, Aquaman's stupid, and I was like, all right, dude.
Whoa.
But I was like, well,
Whoa.
I said, all right, man. I said, I'm just gonna tell you one thing. Aquaman killed Cthulhu.
Yes.
So, shut up.
Aquaman made Cthulhu his bitch.
Yeah,
Because he can talk to sea life. He's like, you, villain, you're mine. Come on,
yeah,
let's go.
dude. I mean, I think that could. I don't know, man.
I mean, go ahead. I'm so excited.
I really, I don't. The thing is, I don't know how to feel about this movie because, let's be honest, when I first heard about it, of course I got excited because they had the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns Batman logo. So I was like, holy shit. And then everybody got freaked out when they announced Ben Affleck, and I actually liked it. And
I believe in Batfleck. I do.
I do. And then they showed the Batmobile that looks really cool. And then they showed the new suit, and everyone got excited about that. There's these small things I'm like, there's bright lights of hope, but there's a lot of darkness around it. But I don't know, man. It's like that Momoa news. I really got excited about that. But then it slowly started to go back down because I was like, oh, yeah, that's right, because he's going to be in a movie with like 8 other fucking guys that are going to get about 20 minutes apiece. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. So,
Yeah. I mean,
it's a lot of excitement in a giant clusterfuck.
that's a great way of putting it. Because you do forget. Like sometimes I forget that Jason Momoa is supposedly attached to play Aquaman because then you're thinking about Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot. So it's like you already know that Affleck is going to get a big chunk of this film. All right, that's not even ignore that.
That's also because he's fucking Batman, and Batman deserves all the spotlight all the time forever.
Like,
Because
Batman gets all of it. It's like, give me the spotlight.
Oh, why? Because I'm Batman. Fuck you.
Because he's Batman. That's it. So I mean, for all, even Gal Gadot, like I'm wondering like what her scenes are like. My fear about Gal Gadot, let me say not Gal Gadot specifically, but Wonder Woman is what is she going to be doing? Because most of the set pieces or set pictures that were taken on set show her like dressed as a normal woman coming out. So I wonder how they're actually going to handle her.
You know what? I mean, it's really interesting theory. Me and my friends had a theory once that we feel like Wonder Woman. I mean, because honestly, it's like I said before, and you already knew what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like they're like, Clark and the invasion was the invasion was all over the place. So, like, of course, Wonder Woman's gonna be like, yo, Themyscira was all screwed up because of what happened with you, or Aquaman's gonna be like, yo, Atlantis was because of what you did. But I feel like me and my friends agree with like, yo, maybe Wonder Woman could be like the Black Widow of the Justice League. Like, she's the one that like secretly investigates everybody to see if they're worthy enough to be in the Justice League. Maybe
They better not do that because then
I was gonna
DC
say
would get
that's
so much
fucking
flack.
Batman's job.
Yeah, basically.
Like that dude. Like, I mean, look, and you can't do that to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's too much of a badass. Like, I mean, half the Justice League fights, she's right next to Superman, kicking the shit out of somebody.
Oh yeah.
And it's, I mean, the thing that I think she's gonna be sort of like, she's gonna be incrementally in the movie as not Wonder Woman, and then at the very end of the movie, when the fight happens, I think that's when you're gonna find out she's Wonder Woman. That's probably what they're gonna do.
Oh my god, I just had a funny idea for a scene. Like, you just like have everybody there in their civilian clothes, and then a post-credit scene. You're just like, it's like they're all together. It's like Clark Kent is Superman, and you see Bruce Wayne. Like, Bruce Wayne is Batman. It's like Diana Prince is Wonder Woman. Just like revealing all of their secret identities, and they're all just surprised at each other.
But fucking Batman would know all of that. Just like that episode in Justice League. I think it was Justice League Unlimited, where they're all together, and Batman's like, man, I already know who all you guys are. Like,
I remember that episode. Oh yeah, when he was like, look, we have to be civilian attire, so that means Clark Kent, Dinah Prince, Wally West, and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And even in Justice League War, where he was fighting Superman for the first time, and he's like, we have to calm him down. Right, Clark, and then Superman stops, and then he uses his X-ray vision on him. He's like, Bruce Wayne, like even going back to the Batman to the Batman and Superman animated team.
World's Finest.
No, the one in the '90s where he came into the into Superman show, like, for that special.
Yeah, that was World's Finest. Back in the day, that both the animated cartoons, that was World's Finest.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about not Apocalypse. What's the name?
Public Enemies. Public Enemies.
That's what I was thinking about. But yeah, you're right. It's World Finest, and Batman, like, Superman is undressing and stuff, and he looks down. He's like, what the fuck? Like, I have a bug on me? And then he looks all the way across to the building. He's like a couple of skyscrapers down, and Batman is looking through the binoculars like, yeah,
Batman watches you undress.
Hey, just be cool with it, man. Just be
Batman's
cool.
like, take it off, you whore. What? Nothing.
You know what, man? I really don't appreciate you making Batman a pervert. So,
please, I can blow your mind.
Look, man, I don't want to start a podcast fight. We're gonna fight. Batman a pervert, all right?
Well, do you want me to tell you how Batman technically had sex with Ra's al Ghul in Talia's body?
No. Hey, listen. Forget that animated series.
Hey, man. Things happen in the heat of battle, bro. It's just
even as a kid, I was like, whoa, he just kissed Ra's al Ghul. Like that. Like, when Batman found out later on, that had to be like one of those shit moments. Like, like
it would be that scene in Ace Ventura when he finds out she's a dude.
Like, what was her name? He's like, wait, that means that's
Einhorn. Einhorn is a man. Talia is Roz.
You can imagine, like, Bruce Wayne in the corner of his bathroom.
It's like
shit hurdled by.
It's like Batman's in the shower crying, eating Chips Ahoy, like.
He just becomes fat. Just gives up. Like, fuck it. Joker, Mr. Freeze, you can take it all, man. It's just nothing means what it used to mean anymore. Up is down, black is white. I don't know what's real.
And then you see Catwoman come out of nowhere and just like, now you know what it feels like, don't you? World's full shade of gray, isn't it, Batman? And then Catwoman walks away.
And she just ends up pulling down her little tights and ends up being a lady boy.
Yeah, right. It's like
that's the comic series I want to fucking read.
So there was a rumor last week that I want to speak about that. Well, it started out as a rumor, but then it sort of became legitimate, and it's related to the Batman v Superman film. Now, Benedict Cumberbatch or whatever, was approached during an interview, and he was saying, "Hey, there's a rumor going around saying that you're going to be a villain in the Batman v Superman film." And Benedict Cumberbatch said, "Well, don't no." The guy asked him like, "Is it a rumor?" And he said, "Well, don't count me out of it. Like, don't count me out of it, yo." Basically,
Benedict
like,
Cumberbatch was named to be in so many things in the comic book world. He was named to have been Doctor Strange, and they
I know,
were
right?
naming
Yeah.
him for like a whole lot of stuff. I mean, for me, I feel like Batman vs Superman is also missing something. Like Batman vs Superman is missing a reason. I mean, it can go 50-50 either way, but I feel like they're missing a Batman villain for the reason for Batman. I mean, we know Batman's going to Metropolis to be like, "Yo, Superman, this whole bullshit right here, cut that out. You are too powerful for your own good. I'm gonna bust your ass right now."
here's
But
here's what I was thinking though. What if Jesse Eisenberg is playing a young Lex Luthor, and Benedict Cumberbatch is actually like the older version? Like, what if he's like the Lex Luthor from a flashback? But then
you
Benedict.
know, I would, I hate to say this, but I would still be mad at that
Really?
Yeah,
because I'd be like,
I wouldn't like that either.
I
because
would
I'd
see,
be
but I
like,
could see him as Brainiac as well. Like, that's what I was
yeah,
saying.
I can see him as
That's what I was saying.
Brainiac.
Like, look, man, if DC really wants me to go in on this, they need to do one of two things. You need to give me Brainiac and Parasite at some point.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and
But Cumberbatch's voice.
Brainiac is seriously like the dude that no one realizes how awesome a freaking movie like that would be.
Do
To
you
make
think that
He
they
was
would be
even awesome
stepping
on
outside?
Smallville.
Do you think that they would be stepping outside of their normal comfort zone if they brought in Brainiac though, being that
I think that's what they need to do though, because I mean, who's out there for a known supervillain that's going to be able that would actually fight the Justice League? I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to have the Joker
Yeah.
and the Penguin? I mean, you can't bring any of Batman's villains in it, none, because Batman's villains are just for Batman because he's a dude with gadgets.
But
If
here
any of those villains were up against Wonder Woman or Aquaman, he'd be like, they'd flick them and go on to the next thing.
here's what I was thinking. That would be a perfect way to add Brainiac to the story. Would be to say that because when Krypton was blowing up, supposedly you could say that Brainiac was attached to or attached to, or used Zod's ship as a way to escape, from destruction. So when Zod did come back to Earth and the ships are blowing up and pieces are falling, maybe Lex did find one of these pieces and found out that it did have some kind of life to it. It's like, oh snap, like you don't like Superman either, or Kryptonians. Maybe we should team up to take this guy down, or maybe Brainiac, being the Brainiac that he is, uh, basically uses Lex to as a pawn in his plans to basically capture Clark, or get rid of Clark. So I
That
can
is
see
not
that.
a
I mean,
bad idea. I can see that. And then they come together as the Justice League, but Brainiac already has a means to defeat them all. Like,
exactly, because too many pieces. I mean, the ship exploded. There were a bunch of pieces of debris. And that's Kryptonian, uh, Kryptonian freaking spaceship, man, isn't it? So I mean, like, you have all this technology from Krypton falling to the Earth. Like, I'm pretty sure that if they wanted to bring in Brainiac, they could easily say that he was attached to one of these pieces of debris from the ship that fell in Metropolis, and Lex found it, or maybe Lex wasn't an established businessman as he was before this happened, and maybe because of Brainiac, and his technology, that he basically boosted himself up and became this business tycoon in Metropolis.
and you know what? You bring up a really good point because I mean, for me, I feel like the cameos are all meant just to be like the post-credit scene. But what if in like a post-credit scene we see the pieces of Brainiac in Themyscira, Atlantis, or wherever else, or whatever hero they want to introduce, and they all just like simultaneously zoom out, and then they all just turn on simultaneously, and then all they say is like objective, like objective starting or like whatever. I can't think of it right now. But it's like that basically like bridges the connection between like maybe Brainiac will be that thing to bridge them all together for Justice League to fight him, and then it'll be something like that. And kind of let me just go back to say why I would be mad about Benedict Cumberbatch being an older Lex Luthor if they do that, because then I will be like, really? Don't get me wrong, Benedict Cumberbatch is fine, but I mean, like, you could have picked an older Lex Luthor and you still looked over Bryan Cranston?
Bryan Cranston is busy though, man. Like he's on Broadway. He's doing a bunch of things, man.
Bryan Cranston needs to be Lex Luthor somehow.
That would have been so awesome though. I am the one who knocks. Like
And then, oh my God, you know what I would have loved for me? I made up a seat in my head where they bring in Aaron Paul, and then Lex Luthor and Aaron Paul's character cook synthetic kryptonite. They're just like, Jesse, I mean, whatever your character's name is, we have to cook.
No.
We have to cook fake kryptonite. And then I'm just like, oh crap. Like, but
I would get up and walk out of the movie. That would be so. I mean, there's corny, and like. I mean, it would be kind of interesting. Don't get me wrong. It'd be like, oh, that's funny. But if they legitimately put that in a movie, I think I might stop watching movies in general after that.
I think it'd be fun idea for like, like just to pay homage to their characters, and then like, because Lex did make kryptonite in the comics at one point. We don't know how the hell he did it, but
I think that's probably exactly why. Bryan Cranston would, even if they approached him, didn't want to play Lex Luthor. If he wouldn't be interested. He's like, dude, look, I played a bald bad guy already. I'm done. I'm moving on to the next thing. Because then you watching that movie the whole time, and everyone's just like, look, man, Walter White's fighting Batman. It's all, that's all you would hear. He's fighting Superman. He's fighting Wonder Woman. It's all you would hear. That's why I was happy they didn't go. Look, I love Bryan Cranston, but I was happy they didn't go with that, because it's like, look, there's only so many bald supervillains you can play.
I really I really wanted him to, like, when the rumors started circulating, it was like Bryan Cranston, like that shit would be so, especially jumping off of Breaking Bad. But I can see like how some actors are, where they're picky with their roles because they don't want to just be remembered as being that baddie or the bald baddie, like you said, or just being remembered as being in that specific role. Because if he did jump from being Walter White to Lex Luthor, then it'd be like, but we've seen it. Some people might be like, well, we've seen it.
But also, you have to think of this too. I mean, look at it. He's in his 50s, and he would end up being in the same predicament that Robert Downey Jr. is in now. He's like, look, I don't want to play this one character for the rest of my life. He knew he would have to sign on for multiple films, and that's a problem they're having with Downey right now. They don't know if they're going to be able to make another Iron Man, because he's like, look, dude, I played Iron Man 3 times. It's going to be 5 or 6 by the time we get through with the Avengers. I got other shit I want to do.
Yeah, but I think that's all on Robert Downey Jr.'s. That's all at his table, because.
Yeah, but I think a lot of actors think like that, though. I really.
No, I definitely hear you, because I know he said that he wanted to go back to Broadway because that's where his family started out, was with Broadway. But you got to look at Robert Downey Jr. before he became Tony Stark. He not trying to be so harsh.
No, his career was over.
It was because
but that's why though. That's probably why he's like, look, man, I got my career back. I appreciate it, but now I want to go and actually do what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, but he doesn't necessarily have it back, because didn't he do that movie with Zach Stephanopoulos? I never can say his name.
Zach
Galifianakis.
Yeah, like he did
that.
that.
But that's the thing with those. I mean, they were shitting out those movies at that time. They probably offered him so much money, he was just kind of like, all right, I guess. I mean, he still wants to do another Sherlock Holmes movie.
I loved him in Sherlock Holmes.
That movie he's got coming out with Robert Duvall looks really good. I mean, he's done. I mean, like, look, I'm not saying he wants to do stuff that's going to make him a ton of money. But I'm saying he wants to do stuff that feeds that actor ego. He's like, I have to play characters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why. I mean, look, he's done a couple dramatic roles that were independent movies in between all these films, and then no one knew about it. But that's probably what he did, because that's what he wants to do.
Dude, if Disney put enough, like, Disney probably they obviously threw a huge amount of money at Robert Downey Jr. to come back.
Oh yeah. He was the whole movie.
Another one if they throw him enough money, but that's probably why he's playing hard to get as well.
I guarantee you that they were probably like, hey, you know what? We want to do a Walt Disney film too. You want to play Walt Disney? It's like, we'll give you like $100 billion cajillion dollars.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You know what? There's two different things. One, there was a terrible fake rumor that because they're making an Assassin's Creed movie, and
Yep.
there was this fake story that Robert Downey Jr. was going to be Leonardo da Vinci,
Yeah,
and I
see,
was like, holy
but it's,
God.
no, but it's taking place. This one is not even taking place during the Renaissance or anything.
Yeah, but it was fake, but it was like one of those fakes where I literally got hyped for a second. I was like, oh my God! I'm like, wait a damn minute.
Yeah, because I mean,
It's like, hold on the damn phone.
speaking about yeah, we just left DC and Marvel. You know what? We could also talk about this as well. Um, but summertime is ending. We're basically a few months away from 2015. You brought up Assassin's Creed. I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. Like literally, like I have all the games. I've read the novels. Huge fan. Okay. When I first heard that Michael Fassbender was going to be in Assassin's Creed, I was pissed. Mainly because I thought that they were starting the story, trying to follow the game with Altair. So I was like, so they're putting Michael Fassbender in as Altair. Altair, like, it's like here we go with this fucking Hollywood whitewashing bullshit. And then they were like, well, no, he's not. He's actually going to be an assassin in modern day time, but he's going to be using the Animus to go back to Spain. I think it's in Spain.
So he's gonna be Desmond, basically.
Yeah, but he's not Desmond though. Like this is a new character. This is why I feel that some video games,
Shouldn't be movies.
yeah, and it's mainly because, like for instance, I don't know if any of you have ever played Mass Effect, but
I'm playing Mass Effect 2 right now.
All right, Mass Effect, you create the character. The character doesn't necessarily have this standard look where you're like, oh, well, this character looks this way. So if they make a movie, it has to be this character. Where in Mass Effect, where if they were to make a movie, which they're planning on doing, they would have to make this specific character, which isn't going to really please a lot of fans because they're gonna be like, but this is generic, but my character looks like this and this is that. Same thing goes for Assassin's Creed, where you're expanding on a universe, which is something that's good to do because you're not like, well, it's not like the work is already laid out for you. Besides the general getting the Animus, go back in time kind of stuff, you're creating new characters in this expanded universe. So I guess I sort of have issues with it because it's just like it doesn't need to be a movie, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I wholeheartedly, if I could hug you, I would, because I understand your frustration completely when they take something that you love and then they try to like Hollywoodize it. Basically,
what happened? Look what happened to Doom when The Rock first, started.
Oh my God!
Actually,
No.
they actually made it a first, like whenever they were looking for monsters, it was first person. It was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like really?
So shots fired. So I'm gonna retaliate with House of the Dead.
Oh my God!
Look, I can shut this whole thing down with just talking about
Resident Evil.
the entire
The
whole Resident Evil series.
Oh my God! I hate
no.
that shit.
The first three were good.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't.
I
I
like the
haven't-
first three
I haven't
movies.
watched anything. I haven't watched anything after the third film.
Exactly.
Wait. What was the third? No, the second. I haven't watched anything after the second film because the second one was with Nemesis, right?
It
With
was,
Nemesis.
it was Resident Evil, and then Resident Evil Apocalypse, and then Resident Evil Extinction. After Extinction, they fell off the wagon, except when they casted Wesker, because Sean Roberts is a badass Wesker.
I'm gonna tell you right now. There were no wheels on the fucking thing from the get-go. They were dragging a dead corpse. Dude, those movies suck. They're.
Hell yeah.
I
look,
like the
man,
first three.
I pride myself from trying to let people like what they like. I can't let that go, man. Those movies, dude, all you had to do was make the first game. That's all you had to do.
Yes, that's all you had to do.
And they had it. They had George Romero wanted to make Resident Evil, and he went to the studio and they said, well, where's your script? And he goes, there already is a script, the game. We'll just adapt the game script and we'll make a film. Mm-hmm. And it would have been, and it might have been bad, but it would have been a lot fucking better than having Super Bitch in the movie who can just fucking apparently do everything.
Yes, having her broken does not. I will agree with that. Having her broken makes no sense. And even Mila Jovovich has even came up and complained that Capcom hasn't asked her to be in the Resident Evil games. I'm like, bitch, because you're not survival horror. Your powers are what I need in Dead Space.
Yeah.
Wait, wait,
And
wait.
I
She
just-
complained about not being in the games.
Yeah. She was
Get
like,
the
how come
fuck out of here, man.
I'm like, Alice, because you're broken. You are not what survival horror needs. I need a bitch like you with your powers in Dead Space, because Dead Space scares the shit out of me.
I've never beat Dead Space 1.
Neither have I. I will
Oh,
not
okay.
be ashamed to fucking admit that.
Dude,
I
Dead-
am a total bitch when it comes to. I have to
Oh,
play
yeah.
Dead Space at intervals.
I couldn't beat Dead Space 1. One, because I'm bad at video games, but two, because it did freak me out.
I couldn't
Like,
beat it 'cause I
even
ran out
like-
of bullets. I actually ran out of bullets and was fighting this big behemoth monster, and I was like, I am gonna die, obviously, every time I restart, and I'm not starting back from the fucking beginning because the checkpoints were so fucking spaced out. It was like, I'm not starting over. was
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
fuck that.
that really. Have you heard of checkpoints? Like, when I get to a certain thing, like pretty much now, what every game does, every game will pretty much save at like every 5 or so minutes. Like if you go to the store and buy something, auto save. If you
Yeah.
go somewhere else and do anything else, auto save. Dead Space is like, nope, you're dead. Go back to the beginning without your upgrades.
Exactly.
You know,
I'm
you
like,
know what
fuck
though?
you, bitch.
I will say this though. I like that though because it brought me back to the heyday of having to play a game and not being able to save, and if you died, you were like, "Son of a bitch!" I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
remember trying to get to save points in Resident Evil, like when your mom was
Oh
rushing
my
out the door. And you're
God.
like, "Look, I just got to go up a few set of stairs and some doors." And it's slow ass steps, and you're just freaking out at your TV, going, "Walk, you whore! Walk!"
Like, walk you, bitch!
Dude, I never beat the original Resident Evil. Like I'm the type of person, I get so far into games and then I don't know why, I just stop playing. And it's not because I don't like the games. I just have this function in my brain where it just turns off. Yeah, we beat that game. Fuck it, it's done. It doesn't matter.
It's like I've conquered you.
Yeah.
I have defeated
I got
you.
so close. I got so close to beating Resident Evil. I was on a tear. And I didn't save a bunch of times when I could have because I just wanted to keep going. And I was supposed to go out to dinner for my stupid grandfather's birthday, and my mom comes in and just rips the wires out of the wall, and I wanted to
Can we take a minute to share the pain? Like, I have my right hand raised, like I'm about to testify. Like, oh, my brother, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. Like,
I'm just in the fetal position in the restaurant, just like, why?
bring me more breadsticks.
Yeah, that is one thing I actually did really enjoy about Dead Space. It was just like, because you were so on the edge, like, I just gotta fucking find a save point. And then you'd always either just like, then there's necronomics or whatever the hell they're called come out of nowhere and fuck you up because you have like a nut hair's worth of health left and no ammo, and you're like, just no. But that's also why, like you guys, that's also why I never finished the game.
I didn't finish it because I will not even like me and one of my best friends were talking about Dead Space because he was like, "Oh, did you beat Dead Space?" I'm like, "No, because I'm a bitch and I'm afraid of that game." And he was like, "Oh, you a bitch?" I'm like, "Why don't you borrow it then?" He's like, "Nah, I'm good."
Oh, you think you're tough?
Yeah, we're like, you think you hot shit? You play this game in the dark and see what the hell happens to you calling me up because you got nightmares. Like,
that was me and my buddies. We used to talk. I never played it, but I watched my buddies play it. Do you guys remember a game for Xbox called Fatal Frame?
Of course.
oh
right?
God.
Scariest games that were ever created in the history of everything. We were at school talking about it, and our buddy was just like, "What are you talking about? Like, this shit's not that scary." And I don't know if they did let him borrow it, but like, I remember we looked at him like, "What?" Like, it's like, dude, I haven't slept in a week.
It's like, what is this? Why would you do this to me?
Yeah.
Oh, Fatal Frame. Oh, thanks. Now I'm going to have nightmares again.
You know, I that's one of the things that I really have a problem with Hollywood is that they're always trying to adapt like video games and try to tear away the story that's already grounded. Like when they first announced that they were gonna make Uncharted, they were like, "Oh, well, guess what? Fucking Robert De Niro is gonna be in it. And then they were like, what's this fucking jerk's name? I don't mean to fucking.
Robert De Niro
Damn,
Yeah,
dude.
it's like
as
Robert De Niro's
what?
Sully.
The Penguin?
Drake's buddy or whatever, and it was like Mark Wahlberg is gonna play Nathan Drake, and it was like Joe Pesci was gonna be uncle, like his uncle, and it was gonna be like a family film, and I was like, everybody was like, get the fuck out. Especially it was like Mark Wahlberg as freaking Nathan Drake. Are you kidding me?
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, the guy, he has a couple of good films, but
I wouldn't put. You know what? I could honestly. I mean, he's insanely busy now, but I could see someone like Stephen Amell as Nathan Drake.
Stephen Amell. Yeah. Actually, that would work, man.
I mean,
I could see him doing it.
we can just blanket this whole discussion with just say comic book movie, or I mean, not comic book, video game movies just suck.
Yeah, they do. I mean,
Like-
besides.
I mean, what are the good ones? Let's instead of we can go over the bad ones. all day
You didn't
long.
you didn't like Mortal Kombat?
Let's talk about
The first two. I love Mortal Kombat.
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat-
Just the first one, not the.
No, I love the second one. The second
Oh my
one was.
God.
I loved it. I still love it. I look back on it and I love it still.
I don't think anybody's allowed to shit on the second one if they like the first one.
Yeah, exactly.
Just as bad. It's
Wait.
just as bad.
No, hell no, it's not just as bad.
Yeah, it is.
Hell no.
If you
Go back and watch it again.
The second one is that relative that you love because the family loves them.
Fuck that second film, man.
Okay. So let me ask you this: would you rather watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation or Dragon Ball Evolution?
I think Sean just shot himself.
Yeah, I really think he just like. Okay, so rest in peace to because I just gave you the or you know what you want to okay, so you can watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Silent Hill, or Dragon Ball Evolution.
Silent Hill.
I'd go with Silent Hill, man.
I own it.
'Cause I loved it. I mean,
I thought that to me is literally the only video game adaptation that I own, I think, and that I've actually
yeah, I like Silent Hill.
And look, it wasn't what I wanted, but it was enough of what those games were good with, and a cool and a different sort of look at it that I really enjoyed it. I mean, literally, honestly, like I can't think of another video game movie that I like besides Silent Hill.
Does
I
Scott
mean-
Pilgrim count? Well, no, it's based on video games, but it's a
Based on
comic
a
book.
comic.
Yeah, it's a comic
Look,
book.
My own twisted love also says Super Mario Brothers, but I do admit that movie's terrible. But I also
Oh,
Wait.
the original Street Fighter movie too. 'Cause-
oh my god, yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
whoa. There
Look.
was no original Street Fighter movie. It doesn't exist. Come on.
dude, what are you talking
Really?
about?
Really? That movie was craptacular when we were kids.
Dude,
Come on, man.
Hell no, it wasn't spectacular. I mean, you had fucking John
I
Claude
said
Van Damme.
craptacular, not
No,
Look,
I thought
it had single-handedly the greatest line in any video game movie ever. I'm going to kick Bison's ass so hard, the next
Yeah,
Bison
exactly.
wannabe is going to feel it.
exactly.
That's the greatest line ever.
That almost takes the cake when Johnny Cage dick punched Goro. Like,
Yeah, you mean the stop-motion Goro?
it's like you're poof. I'm like, oh, now that is something that I did not. It was still funny though.
Original Mortal Kombat was so bad.
Oh, you know what? Ooh,
Wait. The movie? Come on, man. The movie is fucking awesome. The
Nah,
song
dude, it's
itself.
bad. It's bad, bro. It's bad. It's just
it's bad, bro.
Dude, man, look, like you can have nostalgia all you want, but go back and watch that movie again. It's a pile of trash. It's exactly what it is. Let's be honest with each other here.
So are we just gonna name bad video game based?
Well, that's what I'm saying is I brought up like, dude, name one good video game movie. And, like,
Oh man, I was gonna name another bad one. I was gonna say
so that's what
Bloodbrain.
I'm saying is like that's how bad they all are. Is you have to struggle to name a good one.
All right.
What about Tomb Raider?
If we're gonna bash Mortal Kombat, we at least have to say that the soundtrack is fucking awesome, dude.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah. You
Dude,
can.
I remember
But here's-
my brother had actually took me to the theaters to see that. I remember sitting in the front and we're watching it and it comes on and it's like shh, Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah, dude. But here's the great part. Do you know who made the soundtrack, right?
Yeah, I know.
George Clinton from fucking Parliament Funkadelic.
Yep.
That's awesome. Come on, man.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Yup.
That's all you can say to that is, yup, that happened.
That's a good. Come on, dude. You can't not hear that theme and not get pumped though.
That is the best workout music. Like,
When I used to go to the gym, like in the gym and shit, like put this on blast, like more. You actually catch yourself yelling that shit, like Mortal Kombat. Like, oh, sorry.
I love that soundtrack. Oh shit.
Oh, man.
What about Tomb Raider?
That sucked. Are you kidding me?
I'm not talking about the movie. I just want to talk about Angelina Jolie being like that.
She sucked.
Like,
She wasn't even hot.
Yeah, she sucked.
what else is terrible?
She was-
Oh, damn. There's a lot of bad ones.
She was
I
so.
can't think of a good one. That's how bad this is.
Come on, man. I mean, dude, she was so bad in it that they had to digitally enhance her tits just to make people go to the movies.
It was like, hey, look, it's bubes on the screen. And then it's like, why do this to our precious games? Like,
Well, they are they are making the new Tomb Raider into a film, and I actually like starting off with a young Lara Croft and showing her evolve into the Tomb Raider that we know her to be. I'm with that.
I loved the new game. Like,
I
I
did too.
did. I found myself playing the hell out of that shit.
Yeah, I played
That's
the
what
shit out of
I like. That's one of the games I want to go pick up. I never have time to play video games anymore. But I've watched my buddies play it, and I've watched like little snippets of it online. Like that's all you got to do to make a badass Tomb Raider movie. It's just like it's almost like Indiana Jones on crack.
With bubes.
You can't get over that, can you?
Nope. With bubes. But no, I mean, like, for me, it's like, what I've never understood about Hollywood is how you have something that has already been established. You already have the source material, and you still fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say, is that you have the great story there where everybody, like Resident Evil, playing it as I was probably like 12 or something when Resident Evil came out.
Yep.
13.
Same with me, yeah.
And I remember playing, I was just like, yo, this story is so crazy, man. And then you're like, when they're like, oh, the movie's coming out, you're like, oh man, they're gonna be in the house, they're gonna be trapped, the dogs, the liquors, all these things, it's gonna be crazy. And then you get
Well, the liquors weren't until the second one. Don't forget.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, the liquors were until the
Hunters
They were in the first one.
The hunters were in the first
Those
one.
were liquors. Those were
No, they
liquors.
were hunters, dude. They look totally different.
They had long tongues. They were liquors.
All right, man. All right.
Gene Simmons, whichever.
We'll disagree. We'll agree to disagree on this, man.
Yeah, all right, yeah, you're right. They are hunters, but I mean, I was looking forward to actually, seeing that on the big screen. Then when I sat
so was
there,
I. So was I.
I thought, when it started and she wakes up and she's in the bathtub and everything, or I forgot how it started exactly, but she wakes up and she's in the house and it's a mansion and she looks and then like the birds start flying. It's like, oh shit, they're gonna do the house and everything. And then it's like, oh well, there's actually something under the mansion, and it's like, wait, what? Like there's
You could do underneath.
It's the bat cave of the mansion. It's off the books. And no one knows where it is.
Well, I mean, you could do underneath the mansion because parts of the game. I mean, you weren't underneath the mansion necessarily, but you were underground in a giant lab. But it was the fact that like the lab was apparently the size of fucking Texas, apparently.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, man.
It's just that movie, man. I was so
I'm hurt, yo.
I was so pissed leaving that movie because I was so excited. Like just like you, man, I was so excited for the giant spiders. I wanted to see the giant snake, the dogs, the zombies, dude. They couldn't even do justice to the first time you see a zombie in that when he turns around and everything. They couldn't even do justice to that. Like you had the shot in the game. It just, I don't know, man. It's just, but I mean, we've gotten tortured with all these shitty ass movies, but at least we're getting the HD version of the original game getting re-released. I think that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, Capcom and their nonsense is another podcast. Like,
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
can go off on Capcom. Can we please do that?
What?
Like in
Specific?
like another podcast is basically talk about how Capcom has been messing up for this entire quarter.
Sure. Sure.
Because I'm a big Capcom fanboy. I will not like I put up with a lot of Capcom's bullshit because I am in like a Rihanna Chris Brown relationship with them. It's like it's like you hit me, but I know you mean well in the end, so I guess it's okay.
Wow.
But it's like I'm just like okay, let's go back to comic book movies because that's another podcast. That was like our sneak peek to another one, but
Yeah, that was a sneak peek there. You guys got a taste of how we feel about video game movies. That was just a little taste.
it's like smack. You hit me, but I know you mean well. You don't mean it.
So what do you? I mean, we talked about DC. Do you guys want to talk about Marvel? What they've done right? Since apparently they've done almost everything right.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm so happy that movie got made. Like,
oh, dude. I mean, look.
I love their comics. I do.
And the great thing about Guardians of the Galaxy, those are all characters that I kind of knew about peripherally. And I remember when it got announced at Comic-Con and I saw that picture they released, I was like, they're actually going to do that? I'm like, wow, man. But I never really read too much about them. But that movie turned out just so unbelievably well. I mean, there wasn't a single moment of that entire build-up that I wasn't worried it wasn't going to be good. I mean, when they announced James Gunn, I'm a big James Gunn fan. I loved Super. I loved Slither. I saw Slither multiple times in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just thought he was the perfect guy to bring on that because you need the science fiction, you need the comedy, you need the action, and just it just turned out so well. And then come on, we got to see Thanos actually like hear him.
Yes, and see him.
Josh Brolin.
You could have given me that scene alone, and I would have been like, all right, I'm good, man. I mean,
it's like anybody have napkins? I need to.
Dude, seriously. The fact that Marvel has the balls. I mean, the balls to build up to an Infinity Gauntlet, Avengers 3.
Yeah.
That's gonna be possibly the craziest film that ever gets made.
For me, Guardians of the Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy put DC Comics on suicide watch.
Oh, it totally did. Yeah, it really did. It was like
it's like you said. It's just like you said. You had the balls to make this movie, and that's all DC. DC should learn from Guardians of the Galaxy. Make it. Don't be afraid to make an obscure movie. Cast it well. Have a great writing staff, and there you go. You have a great movie. You have dozens of people that are coming out saying that they want to do a Wonder Woman movie. You know what's funny? Actually,
What?
Joss Whedon, way back in the day, said that he wanted to do a Wonder Woman movie, but DC said no.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, are you guys fucking stupid? This guy made Buffy. Buffy was
And Firefly. Don't forget Firefly.
Of course. I feel like I don't even have to mention, but he made Buffy and Firefly. The Buffy was that show where it's like, you mean to tell me Joss Whedon can't write a show about a strong woman who can kick ass, who isn't overly sexualized? Like you.
Well, they're kicking their ass right now. Looking at what he's doing for Marvel. He was like, if one of them don't want me, then I got to go with the other.
It's like, that's how I feel all the actors are, because even like they had asked Jensen Ackles about whether he would want to work with Marvel or DC, and Jensen Ackles is like, I am not for either or, whoever comes up to me. And one person was like, what if you're Batman? He's like, I'm not Batman, ... yet.
Yeah.
But it's like, all you have to do for a movie is just really like have a good writer and cast it well. That's I feel like it's not hard, but then again, it's like I'm not working for them, unfortunately, because I've made a lot of videos for them. Actually, I made how a Supergirl movie can work, how a hit girl movie
speaking
can
about
work.
Supergirl, you know that they're talking about working on a television show, right?
Those bastards didn't listen to me. Actually, did they? Oh wait, did they? Maybe they can still use a Supergirl TV show.
Yeah.
Well, girl power, yeah, I'm all for girl power. Sure, I can.
Well, aren't they gonna tie that in with the Arrow and the Flash?
I don't know if they're gonna tie that in with Arrow and Flash.
I would assume if they're gonna do a show, I would assume that's probably where they're gonna go.
Maybe because Supergirl is too powerful to love. Well, maybe depending on how they write her in. I mean, she wouldn't be. She would show up and be like, "Hey, Who are you people? Can I play too? Yeah,
Well, I'm
come
saying, I mean,
on.
it's gonna be in the same universe. You don't have to put them in the same city necessarily, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna eventually they're gonna have that so they can have all that crossover. Because eventually they're gonna. I mean, the Flash and Arrow are gonna start crossing over multiple times per seasons probably.
Yeah, and oh my God, DC's also lying, saying that the movies and the TV shows aren't going to connect, and I'm like, you guys are
Yeah.
liars.
No, I don't think they're lying. I think that that's legitimate. That they
Yeah,
don't want to tie
I don't
in.
think. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
they're gonna do that either.
Nah, they're full of shit.
Well, I mean, but here's the funny part though too. What's funny is that they say that you look at again the Marvel DC the compare and contrast with them. It's like DC's like no we're not gonna do that, and Marvel's like yeah we're gonna make fucking TV shows, and guess what they're gonna take place like 30 years before the movies we've been making. So they're not even gonna have anything to do with the movies, but we're just gonna make them before. We're gonna base them in the 70s. And you know what? Fuck you. We're gonna put them on fucking Netflix. How about that?
It's like, and then eventually they're all gonna connect because Agents of Shield connects to the movie universe, and all 4 of these Netflix shows are gonna connect to the movie world also.
I mean Marvel. I mean, look at the end. I mean, look. I haven't seen a single episode of Agents of Shield I've actually liked. So we can leave that to what it is. But I just
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying. I think the fact that they're gonna put Daredevil in the 70s, I think it was a really really awesome idea, and and once again it just shows how willing Marvel is to just put their heads in the chopping block and be like, look, this could crash and burn and blow up in our face, but you know what? We believe in the characters, we believe in the people that we will bring onto the project, and yeah, we're gonna make a Netflix only series for it, and it's still gonna be amazing. I think that's awesome. I think the fact I mean, we don't have to. Not that we don't have to. I don't want to talk about the Daredevil movie because I really don't want to. It was so bad, but I think Daredevil is one of Marvel's better characters. Daredevil, especially that new comic series they've had. I mean, it's been stupendous. I mean,
let me ask you, Joe. You know that they were talking about Disney was supposed to be Time Warner was supposed to be trying to buy DC, but now Disney was talking about trying to buy DC as well.
Wait, say that again?
Oh God, yes.
That Time Warner was trying to buy DC, and that I think Disney was trying to buy, coming up and trying to say, hey, well, we can buy DC as well, to have both universes under our belt.
Wow.
I would honestly love that, although it would make me afraid of Disney because not only has Disney bought Marvel and Lucasfilms,
Yes.
but if they were able to buy DC, oh shit.
Yeah,
But crazy.
I didn't hear about that. That's a game changer right there.
I would personally love if it's confused. It would be funny at first because they would just be like, "So are you going to purposely make the DC movies bad to make the Marvel ones look good, or are you going to basically plant a bomb in DC and just make them blow up so that you're the only comic book universe that's out there?" But then you also think about it, it's like, yo, with the kind of direction people like James Gunn and Joss Whedon doing DC movies, I would like to see what they would do with the movies, but then it's I don't know. I mean, for me personally, I feel like Disney should focus on trying to buy Sony and Fox first.
Oh yeah. So then we could stop with these atrocious X-Men movies.
And the Spider-Man films, because if you remember, a couple months ago, Sony announced that they were actually pushing Spider-Man back to the next Spider-Man to 2017, and the follow-up to 2018, and yet and still they were pushing forward the Sinister Six movie.
I don't, man.
There's a possible reason to why they did that, because apparently, and this is one of my back alley freaking rumors that I heard. Apparently they pushed back Spider-Man 3 so that because Sony and Disney made some kind of a deal where they could add Spider-Man to the next Avengers movie.
I don't want that. I don't want that at all.
They didn't push it back because of that. They pushed it back because they have no fucking idea what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because
really, we didn't like Amazing Spider-Man 2 either. I loved Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
I didn't like Amazing Spider-Man 2 at all.
I couldn't. I didn't enjoy the first one. I thought it was annoying. I didn't even bother seeing the second one.
You're telling me that Matt Dillon? I mean, I said Matt Dillon. Wow. What was Electro's name?
I'm like, we're just gonna stop the show right there because that's an awesome point to leave off on.
You're telling me that Electro became Electro? I mean, like, started to build a hatred for Spider-Man because he didn't remember who he was?
Oh, come on. There have been a lot of other stupid villain reasons to why you're a villain.
That was stupid. I couldn't believe they did it.
There are worse villains that became villains because of stupider reasons.
Name it.
Yeah. Please name some villains that became stupid. I mean, that did stupid shit for stupid. Yeah, please.
It's like villains. Okay, so let's see. Who do we have down the line that became a villain for a stupid-ass reason?
Besides Eric Sachs from fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah,
so we're not gonna talk about White Shredder? Damn.
No, he wasn't even White Shredder because there was the Oroku Saki was in the movie. But the reason for Eric Sachs wanting to do what he did was just stupid. I mean, that was straight from the Amazing Spider-Man 1 where the Lizard was like, hey, I want to spread this virus amongst the city and shit. Eric Sachs was like, hey, I want to spread this thing amongst the city so I can become stupid rich. Quote unquote, line by line was stupid rich. That's what he said.
It's like, so what you're saying is you want to make more money than you already have. And you want to do what with that? So it's like, huh. So where does your line of work fit into this? Couldn't you see? This is what I never understood about villains. It's like, why do you have to monologue your plans? Why can't you just do it?
Yeah, I mean, like
just push the button, infect the world, and then just be like, hey, here we are.
But
Here's my cure.
Electro's reason was stupid. The whole thing with Harry like being like, you know what? It's almost like they made the same mistake that the third Spider-Man film made, where it's like, hey, let's throw all these villains in there and let's see how they mesh together. And it's like they didn't mesh together well. I mean, the whole thing with Goblin being there, the whole thing with Rhino being there for a short amount of time, the whole thing for
you know what? And I will give you that because it's like, okay, you mean to tell me that the trailer scene that you shoved down our throat was the end?
Was the end, the very end.
Because in the movie, me and my friends are like, okay, this Paul Giamatti, he's gonna come back later on. But then we're like, where the fuck is he? The movie's over. And then it's like at the end, and we're like, what the fuck is this movie like? This Fandango says 2+ hours. So if Fandango lied to us to keep us here, I will not be mad at that. And then it's like, oof, bam, it ended. And I was like,
what?
Huh. Okay.
I didn't like.
I mean, I get what you're coming from, where like they basically did the same shit that what's his face did, and they basically overlapped the villains because it's like I feel like
you're not putting that on Sam Raimi's head. That was all. That was all.
No. Spider-Man 3 was Sam Raimi's fault as much as it was Fox's fault.
No, it wasn't. I don't think that
because
at all.
Because Sam Raimi never wanted to add Venom to begin with. And even Fox was like, bro, that's like the money villain. You have to add him in. And that's why we got a Eric Foreman fucking Venom shoehorned into a freaking amazing Spider movie, except for the fact that they did freaking shoehorn in him and that awful other Gwen Stacy. Like... Oh, Spider-Man 3 is another bad pocket that I could yell and curse about all day.
I don't even much like X3. I just.
Oh no, X-Men 3 is my like. I want to punch Brett Ratner in his face for that movie.
Well, I mean, look, I don't know what's worse, X3 or X-Men Origins Wolverine.
You know what? I would honestly watch X-Men Origins over X-Men 3.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, I would rather blow 10,000 rhinos than watch either of them.
Because it's like, okay, Brett Ratner single-handedly ruined not only my favorite character, but my favorite arc. And it's the like
Phoenix arc, huh?
It's like Mr. Dark Phoenix, and everyone's like, "Why'd you hate it so much?" I'm like, "Here's my business card with my name, Mr. Dark Phoenix, on it. That's your only guess as to why I hate that movie."
Everything about that movie was terrible. I mean, you kill
It's
off
like
Cyclops 5 minutes into it, and we still
Xavier.
yeah. It's ridiculous. That movie was bad in every way. It made Wolverine a pansy. I mean,
I
so
mean, even it's like that movie was so it's like Jean Grey unleashes the power of her Phoenix power through the power of stairs.
She's like
Basically
what's her
staring
name?
at shit.
You have to kill me, Logan. You have to kill me. It's like Jean.
It's like that was so. It's like Jack, let go. I'll never let go. Stab. Sorry, I lied. Sorry, I'm doing
just
it.
Just kick her off the piece of wood. Get the fuck out of here. This is mine.
It's like, and it's so funny because it's like when you, and like for me, like I make fun of casting a lot, and it's like starring Melisandre from Game of Thrones, and it's like that. Everything about X-Men 3 was so terrible. Like,
But you know what though? Here's the silver lining for Fox being so terrible at comic book movies. Fantastic Four is going to fail so bad that they're going to be forced to sell the rights back to Marvel, and we'll get Silver Surfer and Thanos, and not Thanos, but Galactus in.
you mean not Galactus Cloud?
You mean the
No.
space part?
I mean, I'm saying we will Marvel will have the rights back for when they do the Infinity Gauntlet, so we'll have actual Galactus, and we will get Silver Surfer as well.
Okay, so the whole Fantastic Four reboot thing, I mean, the fact that they're already done, that one scares me. Because we haven't seen any pictures, we haven't seen a trailer. This feels like one of those movies that goes straight to DVD.
It does. You know, I said that when I had wrote up the article saying that they had just finished filming. I was like, damn. For like the only thing we saw was the building that they're going to use as the tower.
And Doctor Doom.
And Doctor Doom and Thing, because even though this podcast is going up, I will say that I was contacted multiple times by 20th Century Fox, and they're like, "Oh, you have to take down that picture," and I'm like, "Fuck no."
Who said that?
Fox. Like they keep sending me this shit like unauthorized use of picture. I'm like, man, the internet. This is on the internet. Like when it hits
The internet is the internet. Get the fuck out of here.
Like, it's fair use now, man. That shit was on the internet. I got it. Blah.
But you know what? I never understood that. Like, okay, we're gonna jump into that in a second, but I want to know, what do you guys think about Michael B. Jordan as Human Torch?
I don't care. I was fine with it. That wasn't the thing that pissed me off. The rest of the movie is what pissed me off.
I'm all for Michael B. Jordan as Human Torch. Everyone's complaining, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Did you see Chronicle? He was Human Torch in that movie.
I don't have a problem with him being Human Torch. I think the main thing that I have a problem with, one main thing that I have a problem with is that they're rebooting it, and the second one is that the main story, because it's like we've been here before, like again we're getting another origin story. Michael B. Jordan said during an interview, I think it was last month, he said that the Fantastic Four film is not like previous Fantastic Four incarnations. That this one is where these kids get quote unquote disabilities, and you have to learn how to deal with these disabilities in the film.
You know what? And you know what? I'm going to be 1,000,000% honest with you and the audience. When you started talking about it, I zoned the hell out. That's how confused I was. My head knew you were talking, but I'm like, what the fuck?
At the end of the day, the simple fact is Fantastic Four can't work as a movie franchise.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm glad you said it. I've been saying that for so long that
absolutely, it's too niche, it's too geek. It can't work. It's not. Look, Iron Man, Captain America, these things can work because they're more streamlined. But I think Fantastic Four is too. That's too niche to make a franchise out of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're sort of.
I feel like under better direction they can, because like Fantastic Four are those people that basically like when the world's in turmoil. This is like my epic movie trailer for like Fantastic Four. When the world's in turmoil, you don't call Captain America Iron Man, you call Mr. Fantastic.
You have to do it. Come on, you have to do the movie voice. When the
Like,
world is
Yeah,
when
but
the world is in turmoil, when the Marvel heroes are against the wall, they call Mr. Fantastic and his broken son, Franklin Richards, to do the work for the Marvel Universe.
Hans Zimmer
But
score.
here's the deal. When the
The
world
Hans
is
Zimmer
in
score.
turmoil, I do call Captain America because you want to know who Captain America knows? The Hulk.
But
Right?
you know who beat the Hulk? Invisible Woman.
Whoa.
She beat him once, but that's all you need. That's
You know
all
what?
you need.
You know what? I don't buy that. I think the Hulk just didn't want to hit a girl.
Yeah.
No.
The Hulk has hit women before.
You know what, man? I'm really upset that you're poking holes in my story. I'm really upset you're not just going with this.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the Hulk has never Chris Browned a woman
You know what?
before.
You might have quote unquote facts on your side.
Quote unquote facts.
I forgot. I actually totally forgot that the Invisible Woman beat Hulk. You're right. I'm like, now I'm just kind of sitting here going, yeah, maybe the Hulk isn't as badass as I thought he was.
It's like, and even like my friend was like, my friend's like, oh, she'll beat him once. Let's see her do it again. I'm like, if I beat Hulk on my resume, I'm bragging about that.
Yeah,
shit.
right. Yeah, I was gonna say, look, man, I don't gotta beat him more than once. I beat him once.
It's like when people beat Batman. Like, I beat Batman. I beat him
Yeah,
once.
dude, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like, yeah.
but how many times did you beat Batman?
Invisible Woman's just standing around a table going, oh, I'm sorry, Wolverine? What was that? Oh, yeah, right. That's right. You didn't beat him. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? Thor? Yeah, that's right. You didn't beat him. That's right. The
It's like,
one
oh,
with the vagina.
Tony Stark? Oh, Tony Stark? Hulkbuster? Please.
Yeah, that's right. The one
Force
with
field,
the vagina
bitches.
one.
Force field, bitches. Like, that. Oh my God, that is a great. Others like the Marvel characters are always going around playing poker, recalling stories about how they beat the Hulk, and Invisible Woman is the only one that can say something.
Yep. So I did it. Yep.
No.
And
No,
can we
well-
also talk about how, like, for me, Invisible Woman has always been like that character that, like, for me, I mean, Jessica Alba fit the thing almost, because she was hot and blonde back in the day, so it's like whatever. But I mean, Kate Mara as
I can
Invisible
stand
Woman,
her.
I can't buy that. I really can't.
I can't. How can you not buy that? But you can buy Jessica Alba.
Because she was the shit back in the 90s. That's what
No, she
they
wasn't
needed.
the
Somebody
shit.
hot and blonde.
She
That's
wasn't-
all they
she wasn't the
casted her
shit.
for.
She wasn't the shit, and she wasn't blonde. Okay, because Jessica Alba is not Caucasian. All
It's
right?
like they wanted somebody quote unquote hot and who people knew. So that's how she got it. For me, I wanted Natalie Dormer or Emilia Clarke to be Invisible Woman.
No, I'm tired of Emilia Clarke being everywhere, man.
You stop talking bad about the Khaleesi.
Like, come on, man. She's in Game of Thrones. She's getting crazy hype off of that. She's gonna be in Terminator Genesis as fucking
know what?
Sarah Connor. Like, come on, man.
She is naked, fireproof, and covered in dragons. Your
That's
argument
the only,
is valid.
but that's the only reason why she's getting parts in films is because she's fucking naked and shit, and she's been fucking Christopher. I mean, not Christopher. Jason Momoa in fucking Game of Thrones, and people are like, oh shit. Like,
You tell Khal Drogo no.
Here,
What?
this is who I wanted to play the Invisible Woman. The Invisible Woman, because I don't want a fucking Fantastic Four movie.
I don't dude, man. I really, I
Like,
think
look, man, I love the Fantastic Four. I think it is a good. It can be a good comic book, but it can't.
or animated series. I mean,
Yeah, or yeah,
Yeah.
maybe an animated series. I don't even know about that far, but
you didn't like the original one?
I didn't like. I mean, I watched it a couple times, but it didn't hook me.
That song is
Not,
awesome.
not like the Hulk animated series did.
That shit was compared to the Fantastic Four one. Come on.
Which one? World's Greatest Heroes? I love that one.
Just
No, I'm talking about
go.
the '90s Hulk series when it was going along with the same time as X-Men and all them. You know,
I didn't like the Hulk one too much.
I liked it because that was when they actually had the leader and they had Abomination. I thought that was pretty cool because that's
They also had Grey Hulk.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, I mean, Fantastic Four, man. It's not my. I mean, I think they're great, but it's just not me, man. It's just I don't think it's cool. I think Fantastic Four would be cool for like background, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
But not its own movie. Like you want to bring in like during the Avengers at one point, they go to the Fantastic Four, and then you can have the Thing and the Human Torch, but I don't see them carrying their own movie.
It's also that their villains are incredibly cheesy. I mean, they're talking about having Mole Man be in the second film, but he's also going to be in this one.
Ugh.
but he's not going to be in the lead. So
That's what, that's what I told my buddy. I was like, dude, you want to know how the Fantastic Four movie is going to be bad? He goes, why? I'm like, their villain's the fucking Mole Man. That's why. End of story. Done. Get out of my face.
exactly, like
And you
I
know
mean,
what? I don't know. I mean, Mole Man would be that villain that you could remix to be like some kind of like Monster King, and
Nope.
basically
Nope.
Mole Man fits the role for a movie villain because he has monsters and they
Yeah.
fight him and it's action and shit, and that's pretty much like
no,
what
Mole Man
they do.
fits-
I mean,
Mole Man
dude,
doesn't belong on
I
the
do
MCU.
agree with you that you could you remake him to be really badass, but the thing is you'd have to remake him to the point where it's not really Mole Man.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like not even a point in having the what he's gonna have a bunch of like Pacific Rim kaiju come out of the freaking ground. Like,
But don't lie. That would be cool if like Mole Man could summon like a freaking like a fucking Godzilla sized freaking monster for the Fantastic Four to fight. Like
yeah, but if that would happen, you know
They
who I
would
want to
die.
but the thing is if that would happen, you know who I want him to fight? Fucking Godzilla. Like I don't want to see tiny ass the Thing hitting his toes and like, "Ugh, I'm the Thing, fall down already." Ugh. And the Invisible Woman's like, I'm just over here floating stuff around and I have a force field. And then I mean,
who else do they? I mean, well, the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four has their villains are like they got Doom, obviously. Isn't Fing Fang Foom one of their villains, or is that like Doctor Strange? I think that's like Doctor Strange. It's like him, Galactus.
yeah, Galactus. I mean, that's how they brought in the Silver Surfer, and it's just, those characters are too big. I mean, they're gonna make the story. They have to start them on Earth and stuff like that, and then you're eventually just gonna bring Galactus into it. It's just, and then Fox is never gonna make Galactus. It's just that simple. That's why they made him a giant cloud because they don't
Think so?
have.
You don't think they'll take another stab at it?
I mean, they might take another stab at it, but they're not. Are they gonna make Galactus? No, they're not. They're gonna make another form of him. He'll be. Who fucking knows? He'll be something. He'll probably end up like the Great Absorbing Man did in Ang Lee's Hulk. Who fucking knows? I mean, the fact is, the only people that I see making Galactus is Marvel, because they're just kind of like, yeah, the dude's like the size of a planet and he sits on this giant spaceship that's a fucking chair. Yeah, what about it? Suck it. I don't see Fox going that far into it. I can't see that at all.
Like, I want to know what makes these Hollywood people think that gases are the main villains. Like he's like
Lots
with a
and
cloud.
lots of cocaine.
And even like what was it in Green Lantern, the diarrhea space monster that was like terrorizing the world. I'm like, Parallax isn't this fucking shit gas monster that you made him. Like, make a solid villain. Make a villain that is a solid thing.
That really bummed me out because I tell people all the time where they're just like, Green Lantern sucks, and I'm like, I chuck like the Blackest Night at them, and I'm like, yeah, read that and tell me he sucks, you dick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
read that and just watch your mouth. Hey, buddy.
I mean, Green Lantern's one of the. I think he's, outside of Batman, he's my favorite. He's my favorite Justice League character, but. I mean, they couldn't even fucking do Green Lantern justice. Like, that's the problem here. It's just
and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's not for me. I mean, for us, because we read the comics and we're like, okay, this isn't a hard thing to do if you already have the source material. It's like, why not just see DC just needs better writers and screenwriters and screenplays. That's what they need.
Well, the problem
and great casting.
The problem is that DC probably isn't making these decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, DC has to go along with it because they're just like, well, look, we sold them our property, so we have to go along with it. But I'm sure if you went inside the DC offices and were like, look, man, like I'll sign this agreement that I'll kill myself if I say anything that comes out of this room. Come on, man, tell me that you didn't like not hate all the movies that have been made out of your comic books. I guarantee all those guys would be like, man. Fuck those movies. But they can't because look, DC's bleeding money they're just bleeding out money in my opinion. Like that's why there's everything they do is out of sheer desperation. When they brought back, when they did the New 52, when they did, they did Infinite Crisis, like they did like the ending of that or whatever the fuck they did. They just everything they've been doing is out of sheer desperation, and it's just like I don't know. Like I just think people can smell desperation on it. They just everybody knows it's gonna suck because it's out of desperation instead of out of love and out of just a desire to do it like Marvel has.
It's like, and you know what? I mean, and you are completely right. I just feel like, you know what, DC needs that attitude when they crank out and pop out animated movies, because DC will pop out an animated movie like nothing. Like, yo, you want this? Here, take
Yeah,
it.
but their animated films are awesome.
Yeah, but I feel like they need to have that same mentality and that same, gutsy feeling towards the live action movies. Because it's no lie that DC's completely destroying Marvel in the animated movie department.
Of
Like,
course. I mean,
Yeah,
come
but
on.
Marvel, but also at the same time because Marvel's like, yeah, animated, whatever you want, we're making billions doing the live action movies.
and so it's just like Marvel, come on, and even like I feel like Marvel could make a lot of great animated movies under their belt. Like I feel like they should make, and I feel like Marvel would do great with that also, because it's like I just don't want Marvel to be inside a box where they only focus on one thing, where they have a whole possibility. Like they should make Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 or X-Men Legends 3. They should go back to
Yes,
making video
definitely.
games
I mean,
again.
X-Men Legends 3 is something I've been asking for the longest, man. I mean, I had X-Men Legends 2 on Xbox, the original Xbox, man. So
The X brick.
I mean, but let's see. I mean, they might turn it around because we all know they're doing that Guardians of the Galaxy television show.
yeah, that's coming
Yeah,
out.
I mean, you know what? I mean, I really wish I could say that I'm going to get excited for new comic book cartoons, but then in the back of my mind, I know they're going to get canceled.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't even love them anymore.
I don't think it's so much of me worrying about them getting canceled. It's just that they don't carry the like in the '90s. Marvel took chances, even Marvel and DC. Let's be real here. With
Dude,
Batman
Batman
the animated series,
and the X-Men.
yeah, Batman the animated series for its time was way mature for our minds. Like as a
Oh,
little
I
kid,
loved
I
it.
was like,
I
whoa,
loved it.
like I mean, there was romance, there was fucking death, and people were dying there. Okay, so then you had X-Men. X-Men dealt with everything, and it was mature. These were mature, dark television shows for kids to watch. Nowadays, since Disney has the rights to Marvel, everything is like, hey, let's Spider-Man break the third wall here and talk to himself, and then talk to the audience, and like maybe that should be funny. It's like it's not. Like even with the original Spider-Man, that used to be on Fox back in the days in the '90s. That was dark too. I love that shit because it was dark and it dealt with mature situations. Things nowadays is just like, hey, Peter Parker's doing this, ha ha ha. Like, no, come on, man. Where's the dark tone? Where's the serious tone? Even kids that look at Spider-Man shows nowadays don't even like it because they're like, it's too kiddie. It's too silly. Like, this isn't Spider-Man I'm watching in the theaters. Come on.
It's like,
So,
what is this? Like, what is this bullshit? Hey, watch your mouth, little boy. I understand your frustration, but you watch your damn mouth. Even like, I remember I was watching something with my little cousin, and he's like, and because like he knows that like I watch the comics, so he'll always ask me stuff, and I'll be honest, and I'll tell him all the dark and gritty shit that happens, because I'm like, whatever. And we were watching, I think it was Ultimate Spider-Man, and he was like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Ultimate Spider-Man, man. It's just like,
I mean, I love Spectacular Spider-Man. That was a great one.
yeah,
And it's
that was
like,
good. I like the
I
song.
mean,
I'm a fan of songs, man.
I haven't. I didn't see Hulk and the Agents of Shit because I'm like, why?
Agents of shit.
Yeah, Agents of Shit. Because first of all, you can't make a Hulk animated cartoon and hope that he can fight a villain, because then you're gonna have to throw in like all sorts of broken ass people, and I'm like, okay, no. I can't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm like, if they were to call me and be like, hey, you want a voice role in this cartoon? I'd be like, hell the fuck yeah, I do. But no one's called me yet, so that's why I can say, hey, no.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, Marvel's animated universe is definitely taking a backseat to DC's. Even after when DC used to run Justice League and Justice League Unlimited on Cartoon Network, those were great shows, man. Even they kept they still withheld the dark and serious tones while adding in some comedy here and there, but they still leveled themselves amongst the serious tones, which also brought in the younger audience. Because, I mean, keep it real, like the younger audience, even from the '90s and the '80s, even up to now, we're not really into like, yeah, sure, we'll watch like little kiddie things, when you're young, you're like, ah, yeah, you know. But then after a while, you're like, I want to see something mature, and you find out superheroes are doing this and that. Then you want to stick with that. But then if you draw them back to that, hey, let's have fun, guys, and swing on the buildings and shoot webs at people flying, ha ha. Like I'm not into that. Like bring back the serious tone. Just because you're Disney doesn't mean that you have to Disney up these characters.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
like, like, come on, Disney. You made such, like, films that were, like, like, basically, if you want to make a kiddie, that's fine, but you can still find ways to sneak in some adult shit into it.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
even,
come on,
like,
they did Beauty and the Beast. I mean, bestiality and shit. You might as well.
basically, bestiality and, she was whore by default. I mean, I can get into the Disney movies and how, as an adult, I'm like, yo,
I
Belle's a
mean,
whore, Ariel's a whore, like,
even as a kid, like I mean, I'm sorry to get on Disney so much, but like I remember even as a kid when I saw The Lion King in theaters, like my fifth grade teacher took us to see Lion King when it first came out, and I remember like the scene where Can You Feel Your Love was playing and Simba and Nala are rolling around, she's looking up at him and he's on top of her. I was like, they're
I'm like,
about to have
is this about to be a
like
porno?
they're about to
Like,
have. Yeah, in my mind, like the first thing came to my mind was like, they're having sex. Like what the fuck is going on here, man? Like,
and I'm looking,
Disney
and
can do a little.
Disney can do it, and even if so, you look at it and you're like, okay, should I leave the room? I know this is a movie, but should I go? Like,
I never even let my daughter watch Lion King. I'm like, yeah, you're not getting any ideas. Fuck out of
like,
here.
you're not getting any ideas. You can watch The Great Mouse Detective,
Yeah, you can
because
watch
that's
shit.
my shit too. Like, you can watch that.
You can watch
And when
the
you're older,
Rescuers.
yeah, like, and maybe you could watch Nightmare Before Christmas.
And
Like,
Oliver and Company.
oh yeah, the Aristocats.
And Fox and the Hound.
Yeah, like, but it's like, I mean, it's like, and even like, did you hear about how they turned down Stan Lee's original scene that he was supposed to do?
You know, I heard about that in Guardians, but I didn't hear what the scene was. What was the
Basically
scene?
what it is when they walk in and they look around, like you see the dog and they're in the collector's room, and he's in one of the boxes, and he just turns and he flips Drax off. That's all it was.
And,
It was, but
and
it,
they
honestly, I
really.
well, what happened is James Gunn talked that he said he cut it. They didn't, because they used a stand-in because they couldn't get Stan out there for it, and then they were gonna just digitize his face in there because it was just it was a lot easier than just waiting on him to go out there or something. And James said that it was too much of a callback to when Quinn did it in the lineup, and that
Yeah, I was about to
did
say
it, and
that.
he didn't want to do that. Honestly, like I like Stan Lee's cameos when he's like in the middle of a crowd because you kind of hit him out. If you just put a camera right on him and he's in a box all by himself, I don't know. I
It's
didn't.
like,
I was glad they didn't go with that idea because I mean Gunn said that nobody said he couldn't do it. He didn't have Disney didn't give him a problem about it. He just didn't want to do it just because he thought it was too much like what Quinn did in the lineup.
Speaking about the lineup, they did cut out a couple of scenes, like when the whole crew is lined up together and shit. I was like, why was that cut out? Like,
Oh, they do that a lot in with like trailers. They'll put just trailer scenes in there.
yeah,
It was probably just cut for continuity, just to get it to go along a little bit more, because when they're going into the prison, it does take a while, so they just probably wanted to speed that up and get him in there.
hmm Plus Drax was already in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I mean, it's like that would have been funny. I mean, like Stan Lee being a collectible in one of the collector's vaults. And you know what's fun? Did you guys catch the other collectibles in his vault?
Yeah, like Howard the Duck and the
And Adam Warlock also.
Adam Warlock Adam Warlock was in it all the way back in the end of Thor 2.
Yeah, so it's like, look at that little cocoon, and now the cocoon is broken, and now we have a little freaking Adam Warlock flying around the galaxy.
Well, that was the thing too, man. I don't like, look, man. Howard the Duck thing was cool, I guess, but the thing with the ending Marvel scenes, I expect big things that lead in the direction of where they're gonna go. And I understand why they didn't take that opportunity to show Adam Warlock's cocoon crack open, or even just to show it empty. Like the
And
fact
you know what? And like, yo, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying the fact they didn't take that Like, I mean, yeah, most people probably wouldn't know that, but the people who know that they're eventually going towards the Infinity Gauntlet storyline would see that, and I think that would have made such a buzz. And yeah, like Howard the Duck was cool and all, but it's kind of like, I mean, are we seriously talking about we're gonna make a fucking Howard the Duck movie? Like, I don't even want to be in this conversation.
I
Like,
mean, for me, I mean, even like I had made a video about that whole subject because I'm like people's expectations of post-credit scenes, we have been one spoiled, and two, for me, it's like not every movie has to connect to another movie. I feel like Marvel should have their fun with the post-credit scenes depending on what they want to do. Like the whole Howard the Duck thing, I love that, and I feel like everybody was like, oh. They didn't connect. I'm like, who the hell do you expect Guardians to connect to? They're not going to be in Avengers 2. They're going to be shoehorned in Avengers 3. So it's like you want a cameo or like a scene to basically explain a movie that we already know they're going to be in. Like I feel like the post-credit scene should only shoehorn us into another movie as long as it makes sense to like the overall plot. And I feel like Guardians was that movie that gave us like, yeah, Marvel's going to start making comedic little post-credit scenes. The only one I didn't like was the one at the end of Iron Man 3. When he was basically explaining the whole story to Mark Ruffalo. I'm like, oh look, it's Mark Ruffalo, but then at the same time, it's like if I'm telling my story to you, where the hell were you when I was nearly killed 4 times?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. We are spoiled when it comes to those end credit scenes, but it's just like you got to start building up to the Infinity Gauntlet at some point. I mean, you've shown Thanos. We did the whole, and we've done all the stones and all that, but
No, we still have 2 more to go.
no, what I'm saying we've already started that is what I'm saying. We've already started going like in the direction of the stones and everything. I think having the Adam Warlock thing at the end, that was I think that really would have sealed the deal as far as getting the excitement for the build up of that movie. So I get what you're saying. Doing end credit scenes that are just kind of their own thing is nice, but I think you should also have, if you've come to expect the build up in the next one, I think you should still feed that as much as you want. I mean, look what Avengers did. Avengers had the end credit scene, and they also had the comedic one where they're all sitting in that restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where they ate the shawarma. I love that scene.
That's what I'm talking about. You can have both of them. I mean, like plenty of movies have 2 end credit scenes. So.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh man, that was just, I don't know. It's like, it's weird. I'm like, I would love to see, like, and for me, my dream credit scene is when, like, they get their heads out of their asses, and then Nick Fury shows up, and he's like, I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative, and he's talking to Wolverine, and then it's like, oh my god, like.
Let me ask you. So, I mean, actually, we didn't even touch base on this. What are your thoughts on Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam?
I feel like we knew that was coming, and I feel like it's great that it's confirmed now.
I like that he's playing a villain because it's different. I think when guys go into territory they're not really used to, I think more times than not, I think we get good things out of it. And
yeah, I mean,
and like DC has already said, is they're going to put some comedy into this one, which is nice. This seems more like a comic book movie that the way they should be going, as opposed to they're just making action movies for the most part when it comes to Man of Steel and things like that.
Yeah, did you hear that thing recently where DC is talking about that? They were saying that DC doesn't want any comedy in their films.
Oh, they are full of the shit.
I mean, you gotta have. I mean, look, man.
Not every movie has to be dark and brooding. I don't go to a movie theater. The only movie that I legit sat through that I can say needed to be dark and brooding was Watchmen. But other than that, it's like not all movies have to be dark and brooding and like depressing. Like I'm like, come on now. I don't go to a movie theater to be like my comic book movie is sad. Like I don't want to take a Xanax and be like, why did this have to happen? Like, like I don't want to. It even like I mean, I think like I said, DC's like trying to build up hype and try to say some bullshit. So that way they'll get twice the fan base, and then we're like, hey, we're gonna have some comedy, then they'll fix it. Because like, come on now, you're gonna tell me that a movie like Captain Marvel is gonna be dark and brooding? He's a kid, for God's sake.
Exactly.
It's like if I wanted to watch a dark and brooding kid, I would watch Carl on The Walking Dead.
Yes, basically.
Or I would watch Peter Pan from Once Upon a Time. Like.
Wow.
So it's like I feel like DC is like they're just spewing shit out of their mouths right now just so that they can be like, hey, we'll fix this and that. But I mean, no comedy. It's like no comedy really. So you're not going to show the Joker ever or Harley Quinn ever
or Wally West or
or
Barry.
Wally West ever. Like
I mean,
or Dick or Nightwing. Like
it just goes. I mean, but it just goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where they're just like, I mean, they're going towards what they think people want, which is so. I mean, like, look, DC, Warner Brothers, all these people, like, they so don't have the pulse on what people want to see in a comic book movie. They're just going off of what they think the masses want to see, and apparently they think everybody just wants to see depressing movies. Like, I mean, like, dude, like, nobody reads comic books to like want to kill themselves afterwards. They read comic books to be entertained. Yeah, you want that part where you're like, maybe your heart sinks a little bit, but then it turns out good in the end. Yay!
it's like it's like that situation never would have worked out in real life, but it's a good thing I'm reading a comic book instead.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, Grant Morrison just talked about that recently, where he was like, look, they're not. He goes, I don't understand all the realism they're trying to put in comic books and the comic book movies. He's like, they're not fucking real. It's the reason we read the comic books.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's like I don't know. Like I mean and this is just me talking. Like this is why I do what I do, because I would love to be part of the creative council for comic book movies and be at a round table with like a bunch of the producers and the writers and say, look, this is what we need from such and such, and this is what I need from this. Give me 2 seconds.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
I guess something happened. I didn't I was waiting for like, what's gonna happen now?
Yeah.
You got some mic problems apparently, but yeah, it's. I mean, has anything else been announced for the Shazam movie, or has it just been the fact that he's playing Black Adam?
No, he's just playing Black Adam. You know, the whole side about them saying that they're adding in more humor. Overall, we don't have a Shazam. We don't know if it's gonna actually feature the Shazam kids or you know or what, you know, or even if it's going to coincide with the actual DC cinematic universe that they're building. Even though I think that it's obviously going to go side by side, and he'll eventually make it to the Justice League film. And I said this when they made Justice League War, the animated movie. I said, well, these people that they're bringing to the forefront in the the New 52 reboot and the Justice League War film are the same characters that they'll feature in the Justice League movie. I just wonder, like I said, I think I said to you before that, they're obviously not going to kill off Dwayne Johnson in this movie, so he is going to be in future Justice League films. It's just all about how are they going to handle that, you know?
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't know too much about the characters, but I was reading a lot about it. And
I'm back again. Sorry.
It's all right. But apparently, I mean, from what I read about, eventually Black Adam became sort of an anti-hero. So, I mean, that's probably. I mean, it's eventually, if they're going to have The Rock and if they're going to have Dwayne Johnson, eventually it's probably the direction they're probably going to go with that character. Is at some point he's going to sort of maybe team up, maybe not willingly, but team up just to take care of the threat they have.
Yeah.
And like for me, like what you said about Fantastic Four, when like I don't really see it being a franchise. Like for me, I see I see Shazam being a franchise, but only for like one movie.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's like his only notable villain is Black Adam.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on how the movie ends up. I mean, like it's an awesome character, I mean, like they basically have the exact same powers as Superman, except they don't have heat ray vision, but they can control lightning and all this stuff, and they're like it's all this, it's all Egyptian mythology and all this, and they can go,
gods and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and they can go into some cool places with it, but yeah, I can't really see this going past one movie, maybe two. But the thing is if they go to two, they're gonna do trilogies, because apparently every fucking movie that ever gets made has to be a trilogy nowadays.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
except for Godzilla, I'm happy about that.
And it's like, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like, yeah, Marvel. Let me get this right. You can confirm Shazam, no problem. But you still, to this day, have an issue with making a Wonder Woman movie. To this day, you still won't greenlight that movie.
All
Which is
right,
also
here's
which is also why they're shoehorning everybody into the Batman vs Superman movie.
Yeah, but
here's
if that movie does well, she'll get her own movie.
here's my little thing. I don't know if you guys know Shipper War from YouTube. We had her in the podcast a couple of I think it was 2 months ago or so, and we actually talked about this. Bringing Wonder Woman in, having a solo movie. Here's my thing. I don't have a problem with Wonder Woman. In fact, I love her animated movie. I actually enjoyed that, man, because I love Greek mythology and stuff anyway. So I feel that if they did it, they would just have to pinpoint the direction that they want to go with it. Because if this is sort of her origin story with Batman v Superman and her first time on screen, then they don't really have to go with that much of an origin story if she was to get a standalone film. Will Ares be involved in it? Will it just be dealing with something that's happening in Metropolis? Like, where are they going to go? Are they going to stick with the Greek mythology rules, or are they going to say, fuck all that, let's just bring her into
And you
Metropolis and
see,
have her fight villains?
it's funny you bring that up because I mean I can understand one major reason why Wonder Woman's hard to greenlight is because Wonder Woman doesn't really have like her set designated city to protect. Like Batman's got Gotham, Superman has Metropolis, the Flash and Green Lantern have Star City. So it's like Wonder Woman, the only place we really see her is in other characters' places or Themyscira. So to bring her to Earth is like, like what are we going to have her protect? What are we going to have her like, like when are we going to have her say, hey, this is. But I feel like the first movie should take place on Themyscira, filled with like Greek mythology and all of that. And then at the end, they're like, there are other people out there like you. You should go experience the world. Kind of like a, go spread your legs for Batman and fly kind of
Spread
thing.
your legs for Batman.
It's like spread your legs for Batman and fly, 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 little starling, fly,
I,
fly.
I just don't feel that. I feel that if they're going to take a risk with Batman v Superman by introducing Wonder Woman here. They're going to have to make her do something that makes her stand out apart from everybody else that's on the screen, because Wonder Woman is, she completes the Trinity, and that's what comic book fans already know. Like, oh my God, the Trinity gonna be on screen for the first time, just like at San Diego Comic Con when they were like, oh, the Trinity are taking this one picture together. This is awesome. This is fucking history. But you're gonna have to give her something to stand on and make people say, wow, like she is so badass here. I would definitely pay to see a standalone movie where if you just have her here and she flies under the radar, no pun intended, and people are just like, oh yeah, Batman, Batman. Oh, Wonder Woman was in that one scene, but yeah, Batman, Batman, Superman, Superman. Like, then people are not going to really be like, well, I haven't seen much from her, so I don't know if I dropped that much, on a ticket to go see her in a movie. I mean, bad enough. I mean, not bad enough, but like you got Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman, somebody who people don't even feel can hold her own in a standalone film, because the only thing you have to really say, oh yeah, I remember her in this is Fast and the Furious, and even then she was still like, like I didn't like her in Fast and the Furious films. In fact, I was just like, who's this girl? When they were like, Gal Gadot's gonna be Wonder Woman, I was just like, why? There's so many other people that you could have chosen, so other many women that you could have chosen, but instead you're going this route. Like, this is a big risk, because the fans don't accept her, then you could throw in as many movies as she wants. I mean, as you want, but at the end of the day, if fans and moviegoers don't accept her, then you're really not going to be really doing any good for her at all. For Wonder Woman.
And you are absolutely right. And it's like like for me, it's like I feel like for me, I feel like DC will always have the Heath Ledger effect, where it's like everybody bashes on the actor until we see them, and then it's like, holy shit, I was so wrong. So it's like, it seems like a risk now, but I mean, like for me, I mean, honestly, the whole thing with Gal Gadot was like, you know what? I mean, I have faith in her doing it because honestly, a lot of comic book fans' expectations of casting for a character are really like out of this world. Like the original Wonder Woman, the way she was drawn, there is no way you're gonna find a 7 foot tall, built, bodacious, beautiful ass woman like that in this world. So they went more with like the slender, like she can still throw down with the big boys kind of thing, like from the Justice League cartoon or even from Justice League War.
Yeah, but see, this is my problem. Like,
Sean? I think we lost his mic.
Disney shut us down.
Yeah,
Disney-
Disney was like, you know what, fuckers? You guys are talking too much shit. You're talking too much pro Marvel. We've had enough.
It's like Disney and DC shut us down. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about Wonder Woman, but I think Sean, the whole thing is like Sean was saying, they are taking a risk, but I think in this whole movie, I think they're taking a giant risk. So I mean, for the most part, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, think about it like this. I mean, basically, there are no talks or anything from basically like, this is the movie universe that we're getting.
Yeah, exactly.
This is our movie universe till at least like 2020 or 2030. So it's like we're gonna be getting all of these movies up until whenever they decide to reboot it again, when we have our kids and they're like whatever.
Yeah.
And he's gone completely,
Yeah.
which is weird because he started it, but we're still here.
It's all right. Just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, I
think about it like this. I mean, even like it's like this is what we're getting. So it's like they're gonna pretty much have to everything's gonna have to get greenlit sooner or later. But DC doesn't have those cojones that Marvel has to make and say, hey, let's just do this. I'm pretty sure if Marvel was in DC shoes, they'd been they'd have been a greenlit Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a well done Wonder Woman because I think there's not enough strong female characters that can carry. I mean, that they're willing to have carry their own franchises. I would like to see it because Wonder Woman is a really cool character, especially like you said, you bring in the Greek mythology into it and things like that. I think she's a big stretch for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that, but it's kind of like, I mean, she's either gonna work or she isn't. So I think you just need to go full bore into it instead of trying to kind of trim it and trying to make it a little bit more palatable. You just have to go right into it and just, like you said, bring in the Greek mythology, bring in Ares, do all that. So I like your idea, just having it all around that, and then towards the end you realize that Earth is, we are around this. This is just its own little world. I think that would be a great idea. But, I mean, they're obviously just, I mean, I don't know. It just looks like they're not going that direction. So,
yeah.
I mean, I hope she turns out well because I have cousins that are girls and things like that. And I know they like, the Marvel movies and things like that. But I would like them to have a strong female character they can look up to. And Wonder Woman is very much that character. So I hope they get it right. I really do. And I mean, like I said, I hope they get that whole thing right. I hope 2 years from now we're still doing this podcast and we're all sitting here going, man, fucking A, they made us eat our words.
Yeah, because that is even people say, oh, bloggers and vloggers, they complain. It's like, we don't complain. It's just for the fact that we have high hopes for our franchises.
Yeah,
and my thing is, I want you to make me eat my words.
Yeah. Oh no, exactly. And it's like you said, when it comes to casting, we have expectations that are so ridiculously high. And but to a point, I mean, it's almost, it should be known that it's going to be that way. Like, you should know, like, look, dude, if you're going to do this, you have to understand, man, that it's going to be a tough uphill battle because you're going to have to deal with a lot of expectations. So hopefully that happens. But
it's like, and Wonder Woman's villains.
What were your expectations when Affleck was chosen? Then, like, were you?
I was happy. I liked it actually. I mean, look, like, was I doing backflips and cartwheels outside and kissing babies? Affleck's gonna be Batman. No, but I mean, I thought about that when they announced Batman versus Superman. I thought around about it, and I'm like, I can't really think of a lot of people that, off the top of my head, I really want to see as Batman. I mean, I remember listening to, I think it was probably one of Kevin Smith's podcasts, and somebody had brought up, is going right back to what we brought up a long time ago. Someone brought up just having the balls and making Idris Elba be Bruce Wayne and Batman, and I was like, dude, I would have loved something like that. Yeah, I think it might have been Scott Mosier on one of the podcasts. I remember it being brought up, and I remember I couldn't get that out of my head for the longest time. So when they brought up Batman being in Batman versus Superman, I was kind of like, I don't know, Idris Elba. He was like the only guy that I could think of. So when Affleck got it, I was kind of like, I was thinking about it, and I was going. And then when Zack Snyder someone had said, look, Zach wants to go with like an older, sort of a weathered Batman. He's been Batman. This isn't an origin story for Batman. And I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? Like Affleck's been, he's been consistently really good. Like you look at the town and you take the Boston accent out of it and you make him more of like an aristocrat. Like I think he could really pull Bruce Wayne off.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he looks the part. He looks like a rich guy. He looks kind of like a pampered dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see it. Like I don't mind it. I don't hate on it. I mean, and the thing I try to bring up with people is people try to look back on history with rose-colored glasses and they try to rewrite it all. Like, dude, does everyone not remember the shitstorm that happened when they announced Heath Ledger as the Joker?
Yeah. I remember.
Like, dude,
it's like, oh, you're gonna cast a gay cowboy to be the Joker?
Dude, I won't lie. I wasn't like, oh, I don't want my Joker to be a gay guy, but like I remember I was like, I wasn't one of those people, but I was also like, that's odd. I mean, he's never done anything that I mean, I don't know. Like
I liked him
I don't think that's good casting. And then I saw the movie and I was kind of like, all right, man, you shut me the fuck up. Yeah, like I was wrong.
I mean, I saw the first time I saw Heath Ledger was in A Nice Tale. And then,
he was amazing in that movie.
I love that movie, man.
Yeah, he's really good.
That movie, man.
He's good in almost everything he does. I mean, look at 10 Things I Hate About You. He makes that pile of crap even watchable.
So, but when they first announced him as Joker, he had just came off of Brokeback Mountain and Sundance, I think. But I was just like, oh man, like here he was somebody else. I don't know if he can hold down the Joker, not being based off of Brokeback Mountain or anything, but it was just like,
yeah.
Like
But the last thing you do is what's in everybody's head. So that was the last thing that had been released that he had done. So that's what everybody remembered. That's all that was in everybody's mind at the time.
Exactly. But I will say that when I saw the film, and I was sitting there in theaters like, holy shit, like that's Heath Ledger.
Like, I was so happy to finally get, or not, I wouldn't say finally get, but to get a really good Joker because I've talked. My uncle got me into comics. I've talked to him a lot about this. I think the '89 Batman gets shit on a lot more than it probably should because I think a lot of people don't remember that for the time when that came out, dude. Everybody loved that movie. That was Batman.
Yeah.
Like,
of course.
Everybody was like, finally, this is the real Batman. And of course, now you can look back on it and be like, ugh. But I still watch the movie. I think a lot of people did some really good jobs in that. I really like Jack Nicholson as Joker. Like I always said, the perfect Joker is a mix between what Nicholson did and what Heath Ledger did.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, and I mean people have argued like Joker's not funny, but like, dude, Joker is funny.
Yes, he is. What?
He's funny in a really psychotic way, but he's funny.
Like the Joker finds blowing up babies funny, and the Joker makes the most oddball things funny.
Yeah,
and that's what his comedy comes from.
He shoots Barbara Gordon in the spine and just laughs uncontrollably.
I mean, come on, man.
He beat Jason Todd to death.
Yeah, he's laughing the entire time. He's beating Jason Todd to death. Like he's out of his fucking mind. But that was, and I thought Heath Ledger did a really good job. But the one thing that was almost missing in that character was just a little bit more of the jokey clown side. But what we got is, oh my God!
He joked around a little bit. Hey, remember?
Yeah, no. He was really funny. The magic trick.
Yes, that was hilarious.
I mean, the magic trick. I mean, like the part where he's in the penthouse and he's like, and he's eating the finger foods and stuff, and he's like looking at the way he cocks his
he's like,
head.
has anyone seen Den? I need to talk to him about something. And he's like eating a shrimp, like, yeah. Have you seen him?
Like, he takes like the smallest sip of champagne and then just like throws the glass. I mean, he's that's like that whole character was just awesome. I mean, like I might not watch that whole movie all the time, but dude, man, that interrogation scene, I can't even tell you how many times I've watched that part.
Yeah.
That scene, and then when he gets, and that scene, and before that when they capture him, where he's sitting down and I just think it's great when he's in the truck. Like all that stuff's fantastic.
Yep.
And it's like, I mean, like for me, the whole Ben Affleck thing. I mean, for me, like I wasn't upset because it was Ben Affleck. I was just like, damn, because I had seen so many other people doing it. Like they name dropped a lot of people.
They name dropped Josh Brolin.
Yeah, like him. What's his face? The werewolf guy from True Blood.
From Team. Oh yeah,
Oh God, no.
What?
I know, man. Look, dude. Those guys, they're great actors. I like both those guys, but Josh Brolin maybe, but the guy who was in True Blood, that guy doesn't look like Bruce Wayne to me. Because remember, like the thing about casting Batman is it's not so much you're casting Batman, you're also casting Bruce Wayne.
That's true.
Because he's one of those few characters where both parts of his personality get equal screen time, or at least they're supposed to. They really should. So if you're going to cast Batman, you have to cast a good Bruce Wayne. You have to start, in my opinion, with a good Bruce Wayne, and then the good Batman comes from how good your Bruce Wayne is.
And you know what? You are actually really right about that, because like even for the animated series, Kevin Conroy said on multiple occasions that he had to do 2 different voices. He had to do one separate voice for Bruce Wayne as well as another voice for Batman. Just proving that they are 2 separate characters. Like,
yeah. I mean, look at the Batman animated series from the '90s. There was a ton of scenes in that movie where he was just Bruce Wayne, and it was just as compelling.
Yep.
Like, I didn't even mind. Even the same like Batman. Shush, Bruce Wayne's on.
Yeah, like Mask of the Phantasm. Mask of the Phantasm, like he got a ton of screen time as Bruce Wayne, and it's fantastic.
But it's like, I mean, they had, and plus they said people, like, and my thing, like, I would have liked to have seen Matt Bomer be Batman and Bruce Wayne, because I could have seen that.
Matt who?
Matt Bomer from White Collar.
The little tiny fucker?
People can bulk up.
Batman?
Yeah.
He can bulk up, but dude, you need to start from a decent base. Like, dude, Ben Affleck's like 6 feet. Like, he's like 5'10", 6 feet, and he's also pretty relatively built, and he got bigger to be able to look like Batman. That dude, that's like casting what's his name from the show Legit, and frickin' I can't remember his DJ Qualls. It's like casting DJ Qualls, in my opinion, as Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Because I was like, oh damn. And who else did they even name drop someone like Ryan Gosling?
Fuck no, I didn't want that. Yeah, that was the one casting that I would have been upset about. Gosling is a very good actor. But
but he's not Bruce Wayne, man.
Like
I feel like Ryan Gosling needs a role where he can just go batshit crazy.
I mean, I think he could probably do Nightwing, maybe, but not Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
I think he could probably pull off Nightwing, but definitely
you think he can pull off a Nightwing?
I think look. I'm not saying it's a guaranteed fact. But I'm saying that's if you're gonna give him any character, that's probably the only one I could see you giving to him. Look,
yeah.
Who the hell was that weird looking fucking guy for a while? They were talking about who was gonna play Nightwing. The guy who looked like he got hit by a shovel.
The guy that's gonna be in fucking Star Wars episodes.
Yeah. Like, dude, I was like, look, I'm like, and people were like, I love this guy, and I'm like, yeah, but as Nightwing, I'm like
his face, like you said, his face looks weird.
Yeah. Dude, Dick Grayson is supposed to be gorgeous. That's like the big thing about Dick Grayson. Like Dick Grayson. Like he's
his name is Dick for a reason. He gets
right. Because he slings that shit like
Dick Grayson gets the bitches. That's why it's Dick. Like it's like you this big. Wait till you see my name. What? Nothing.
Yeah.
But it's like even like for me, my personal pick for Nightwing is Stephen R. McQueen from
Sorry, man. Hold on.
Oh, you're still dying. Never mind. Hold on.
I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
He's still dying. No, it's fine. Like that's why I love podcasting. You just go off and just.
The way you said it, man. You said, his name is Dick for a reason.
His name is Dick.
Slings that shit.
Like, why do you think it's like nobody calls don't call me Richard. Call me by my true name, Dick.
Yeah.
Like, just ask Barbara. What? Who said that?
Yeah. Yeah, you know when you're a baller when you're not going by Richard. Like, nah, dude, call me Dick.
Like, nah, dude, call me Dick. Dick is my name. Bitches wear it out. What? Nothing. And it's like even like for me, it's like even like it's like for me like I mean I'm probably the only person that watches this show and I will take all the criticism for it. But the Stephen R. McQueen from the Vampire Diaries.
Dude, I just had to look him up on my IMDb
I think he would have been
that was the first thing I saw. Was like the fucking Vampire Diaries.
Because they said that he was gonna be a Nightwing in Arrow, and I was like, oh shit, that'd actually be cool because he does carry like that sort of. I was about to say.
Yeah, and I mean like if you look at him, I feel like he is
Yeah.
Great, perfect for
I'd be okay with that. I mean, just seeing him, I'd be okay with that.
And the funny thing is, he actually bulked up and got muscle for season 5. So it's like now he's not like that skinny bitch he was during the original seasons. Now he can actually hold his own. And I'm like, shit, yeah, do that shit. Like,
Plus, dude is a McQueen, man. So
yeah, so it's like,
Is he actually is he actually related to Steve McQueen?
yeah.
Fucking A, man, dude. Bullet's like one of my favorite movies ever. Like, fuck yeah, let's contact DC and get this going. I want to see this dude as Nightwing now.
it's like, DC, come on, don't do this. And the best part is, like, Warner Brothers already there. I mean, if you watch Supernatural, Dean and Sam's father might be Thomas Wayne in Batman vs Superman.
Wait. They didn't even say that he would show up in there. Like, what? Where you reaching from, buddy?
It's
Yeah,
like,
I did hear that. I haven't heard anything about the big
Where
thing.
you
I heard
reaching?
is that they're not even going, but they're not even. They might talk about it, but they're not going to show any of the past of Batman.
well, I
Yeah,
mean,
which
for
is
me, like,
Alfred.
they have to show something. I mean, like, boom, parents got shot, boom, the end. Here's
They don't.
Superman now. Here's the
Dude,
rest of it.
Dude, everybody, dude. All right, dude. Look, there's 3 origins you never have to do in the history of ever: Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's
So
like we
the
all know
origins-
Uncle Ben dies.
They're done. They're just done, over with. That was the one thing I was happy about. This, like, no, he's already Batman. I was like, oh, thank fucking Christ.
I mean, for me, I feel
that's great.
I feel like Batman Begins should be like that prequel movie platform that should just stay like you want Batman prequel, go watch Batman Begins.
Well, I mean, the thing about Batman Begins worked is because there hadn't actually been an origin story for Batman yet. In the original '89 Batman, he's already just Batman.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, they do the flashback and show why.
I mean, unless you want to do the one with Val Kilmer, they did touch on it a little bit.
I mean, really, man, really. You're gonna drop Batman Forever on here? I mean,
Get off your podcast. Get off your podcast. Bat nipples and the bat credit card.
fucking dude, like even Joel Schumacher admitted to how bad he fucked those movies up.
It was like, if I upset anybody in any way, I'm sorry. The damage is done.
Yeah, but I mean, like Batman Begins worked because you hadn't you didn't necessarily need to see the Waynes getting killed, but you needed to see his progression of growing up without parents and then going off and trying to become Batman. Like, that was that was needed to an extent, but that's done now. Like, everybody remembers that. So, like, all right, officially good. Wipe your hands of it. You never have to do another origin. Now, from now on out, every Batman movie, he's just Batman right off the bat. Well, how does he become Batman? Fuck you. You should know by now. Go
Yeah,
read that.
seriously. It's like, how did he become Batman?
Exactly.
Shut up, he's Batman.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
I
even
definitely. That's why I said I don't like origin
those
stories.
those are the big 3 that non-comic book fans know. So, like, those origin stories are done. Like, just crumple all the comics and throw them in the trash. Take Action Comics #1, crumple it up, throw it in trash can. We're done with it.
You really shouldn't have to ask yourself, especially seeing as how, like, and even, like, some of my friends that don't really, like, know about comics, they basically go to me and my other friends for all the information. Even they know the basic shit. Even, like, my one friend, she started reading more of the comics because of, the movies and me and my friends and everything. But even she was like, she's tired of seeing, like, Batman and Spider-Man's origins all the time, because it's like, we know they're orphans.
Yeah.
Those were her words, and I was like, ow, I love you for that.
No, it's just simply the truth, and that,
It's like we know that Peter Parker went to the store to buy Uncle Ben's and then he died. It's like, oh, never gonna buy that rice again.
Zing.
But it's like, even for me, like, when my friend was watching, she was watching Justice League Doom, and she was like, how come they don't have a way to stop Batman? I'm like, you want to stop Batman? Scream out the word parents.
Like, oh yeah, you might be able to stop me, Batman, but at least when I leave, I can call my parents.
It's like, hey, Batman, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy my dad a Father's Day gift. I'm going to go get my mom a Mother's Day gift.
Guess what? It's not going to be a new gravestone.
Ooh. And it's like, and that's how you stop Batman. It's been like, hey, Batman, look, parents.
Yeah.
There's this meme of, like, Homer Simpson screaming out the word parents to Batman, and Batman's just crying in one of the.
Apparently, the only way you stop Batman is just to kill his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh my God. You know what? If we're gonna talk about shitfest movies, we should do a whole podcast about shitfest movies. I would love to bash The Dark Knight
yeah.
Rises.
I actually wanted the next podcast to be about our best and worst comic book films too, man. Because
Yes, because I
there
would
are,
love to
there
bash on
are.
The Dark Knight Rises for this amount of time because I have to.
I actually fell asleep through that movie. I really don't remember much about it except for Talia's garbage death. Like she just
Oh my God.
and she
That
died.
whole
It's like-
I couldn't believe that they had the nerve to shoehorn someone like Talia in this movie, even though the other two movies didn't do anything to set her up. And she's not a ninja, she's just a bitch with a plan.
Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
go to my world because
actually,
my
look,
daddy want me to. Like, bitch,
For-
get the fuck out of here.
for all of its problems, I still watch that movie. I do like it, but I will say this: for everything you guys will end up bringing up about it, I'll probably go, yeah, no, I agree.
It's like,
But-
no, you're right.
But the thing
you're
is,
right.
because my buddy hated Dark Knight Rises, and I said, yep, I agree with everything you said, but guess what? It's not Batman and Robin, so I'm good with it.
Ah,
It's
And
not.
you know what? Oh my God.
All right, that's another podcast though.
Yeah, that's our preview.
or something.
That's our preview.
We've got 2 previews so far. Apparently, we're gonna shit all over Capcom, and we're gonna
Yes.
shit over comic book movies.
I love this podcast. I love it so much because I can't wait.
All
Those
right,
are our
guys.
post-credit scenes for
So-
those.
So we already discussed our comic book movies. We talked about Dwayne Johnson. So guys, overall, I mean, we're gonna end on this note. But I would like to know for sure, so far from what you're hearing from Batman v Superman and the Shazam movie, as far as casting, are you feeling comfortable with the DC Cinematic Universe and their choices, or are you still against the wall?
I will say that I am cautiously optimistic.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
I think they've made some good ideas, but it's like we've always said, it's just they're packing it in to something too small. Like I said, I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I was okay. I mean, I wasn't super thrilled, but I was okay with Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I like Jeremy Irons as Alfred. I'm okay with look, I wasn't thrilled with Gal Gadot, but seeing her in the outfit, I'm like, okay, I think I might be able to buy this. And I'm super pumped for Jason Momoa as Aquaman. So I mean, look, casting wise, I think they're going in a good direction, but casting doesn't make a movie. The story makes a movie. So it all depends on what they're going to do with this story. So time will tell, but like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic. I want to be really excited for this movie because I think Justice League deserves a really cool flick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, even like you said, I mean, I'm on the fence only because, like I said, I would rather, instead of getting myself so hyped up to the point of I'm extremely disappointed, I would rather be like, you know what, I'm gonna do this and make me eat my words, because I feel like what DC's do, I feel like I said, DC's foaming at the mouth with a lot of the shit they say. They're just basically in a boardroom like, say random shit to get the fans hype, and then we'll fix it. I swear we'll fix it. Like the whole not connecting. Like, the whole not connecting the movie and TV universe, I still feel like that's bullshit, because that's their biggest advantage they have over Marvel right now, is that they can have Arrow and The Flash and everything else move into, the movie territory. And I feel like to basically, at this point, I mean, Justice League won't get made until at least 2017, they said, or whatever. And I'm not saying Green Arrow needs to be in that first Justice League movie, but if they make a Justice League sequel, we would have already had at least 8 seasons of Arrow. You mean to tell me those 8 years that Stephen Amell has basically made a name for himself as Oliver Queen and the Arrow, that we're going to have some other person do it right off the bat? That's not fair to him or us. Why make us watch two
It's
different
fair.
things?
I mean, they
He's
did it with
already
Smallville
established.
and Henry Cavill.
No. Tom Welling
They
didn't
did it
want
with
to play Superman.
Smallville and
Tom Welling said he didn't want to play Superman.
but they passed him.
It's like he never wanted to be in the suit. He never wanted to be it, whatever. So it's like, that was like, really? Has Tom Welling had work? Let that be a podcast. Has Tom Welling had work since Smallville?
I hate it.
Like,
Yeah,
let's search
he
the
did.
internet
He
for,
was in, he was in, he was in the fog. He was in the fog.
I wish I could say I remember that,
Are you telling me the shitty remake? So he was in.
Yeah,
So
he
he
was
was.
in it. He was in it.
So he was in two things I hated because I couldn't stand Smallville.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I didn't watch Smallville until later on when they started introducing more comic book based things. Because when I first started watching Smallville, it was like this really boring fucking soap opera scene with him and Lana, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? So I turned the channel. Like, the fuck is this bullshit? Like, stop showing. No.
Let me. I stopped watching it for a while. Then I was like, people keep talking about it. It's kind of good. Let me jump back into it. When I jumped back into it, it was during the time where Doomsday had been introduced as Sam Wellington, I think his name is.
The
guy that
Apprentice
played,
from Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
Exact. So I was like, wait, what? Doomsday is an amulet driver? Like, what? Wait, what? What? I was like, I am done. Game over, man. Game over.
It's like, continue. No. No more quarters for you. Stop that.
It's so bad.
Yeah, so I mean, I was pretty much done with that. So I assume that we all agree that we're pretty much being optimistic towards DC's take on the
Yes.
future cinematic universe.
If they or anybody else is listening to this, I want to just say
Alright.
one thing and prove us wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is never a time in my life that I want to shove my foot in my mouth. That's good. I would actually want to do that. I want to do it then.
I will personally make an apology vlog.
Alright,
I will bake a cake with the Batman symbol on it and say, I saved you guys some cake, but it's gone. I decided too late.
All right, guys. So we're gonna end on that note. If you guys want to check us out, Joseph, you can let them know where you're at.
I think I have a Twitter account. I don't really know. I mean, I'll figure that out at a later time. I don't really actually do anything, so you guys don't have to worry about following me or nothing. Follow these other guys. They're the ones who actually do shit.
I mean, I'm on
Marcus?
I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr at Mr. Dark Phoenix, and my YouTube is the Mr. Dark Phoenix. And I also have a blog that I swear I'm going to return to doing. Just like darkphoenixinc.blogspot.com. I swear I'm a blog again. I swear I will. But I've had so much fun. Don't forget to check out Sean's site also, because that is like...
Yeah, the whole reason that we're here.
Yeah, pretty much. He summoned us.
You can check me out. No, I mean we're all here because we all know our stuff, man. Comic books, films. So this is a great crew to get together, man. I'm happy to work with you guys on this, and I just can't wait to continue doing this and building this up even more. Who knows, man? Maybe one day we'll have our own panel at one of these Comic Cons, man, where we can share our opinion amongst our fans.
Yes, it is one of my dreams to have a panel at a convention. I don't even care if like 10 people show up that are all like my mom in different outfits. I just want to have a panel at a convention. Like my mom's gonna pull a Roger and have like 10 disguises as 10 different people. But I've had so much fun. I can't wait to get another podcast. This has been great.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we knocked this out for a minute too. So, yeah, guys, if you want to check us out, you can tune in to us every Friday morning. If anything changes, we'll definitely update you via Twitter or the 4Geeks Like You page. Come through anytime. Download us on iTunes. And again, this is Sean, Joseph, and Marcus from Geeks and Around. See you guys later. Hello?